Crowd of 50,000 expected at Foxborough Stadium today for the New England Patriots home opener as they square off against the Seattle Seahawks on a beautiful sunny afternoon. The temperature 68 degrees. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Foxborough Stadium. Tom Hammond and Chris Collinsworth. This young season has been a painful one so far for these two teams. The Patriots are 0-1. The Seahawks are 0-2. Their offenses have sputtered. The Patriots haven't scored a point. The Seahawks only 10 in 2 games, and the 2 lowest-rated quarterbacks in the AFC. The Seahawks' Kelly Stauffer, now out of the shadow of Dave Craig, had a great preseason, but once the regular season began, it's been a different story.
Yeah, it really has been. He played awfully well in the preseason, but it has not translated into the regular season. And the one thing that teams have discovered about Stauffer is that he does not handle the pressure very well. Both Kansas City and Cincinnati had a great deal of success in pressuring Stauffer, and until he proves he can handle it, it won't go away. We fully expect New England to do much of the same here today.
The Patriots' Hugh Millen proved he belonged in the NFL, passing for over 3,000 yards a year ago, but 4 interceptions in the opener.
Yeah, he really didn't play very well, but for him, it's almost a war of attrition now. 7 quarterback sacks in the opener. They also gave up 63 as a team last year, so he must be able to survive not this season, but here today.
And the Seahawks take the opening kickoff and a good return across the 25, close to the 30-yard line. Warren with a nice return. There's a penalty marker down. Kevin Turner made the stop for New England. Let's check the flag. The first play of the game, the kickoff, drawing a penalty. Jerry Austin is the referee.
Holding number 30, 10 yards, first down.
So Tom Flores, the coach of the Seahawks, and Kelly Stauffer, the Seattle quarterback. That offensive line of the Seahawks ranges in experience from rookie first-rounder Roberts to 14-year veteran Lee. Stauffer today starts the 12th game as his 4-year career. Green, the tight end, had 5 catches a week ago. That's the most for a Seattle tight end since 1988. Move the ball back to the 19, where the Seahawks begin with a play-action pass. Stauffer on target to the 35-yard line and a first down as the Seahawks go right to the air and connect for the initial first down of the game. Here's the defense for New England, and after one game, this defense ranked number 2 in the NFL. Williams in the defensive line and linebacker Howard, 2 top tacklers. Howard replacing the injured Chris Singleton. And in the secondary, Robbins replaces the injured Tim Gordon at strong safety. Jerome Henderson takes Robbins' normal free safety spot. Pitch it back to Chris Warren. Warren trying the right side, gets 4 or 5 yards on the first rush of the day for the Seattle Seahawks. David Howard gets the tackle.
Well, already now Tom Flores showing a lot of confidence in Kelly Stauffer. I thought he'd been very conservative with him in the first couple of ball games, but to come right out on first down, throw the ball, not some dump-off pass, but well down the field, a 20-yard completion. Maybe he's finally going to turn this young quarterback loose.
Stauffer has the Seahawks on the move. Give Warren a gain of 3 on that last one. Chris Warren in motion. And Stauffer retreats to pass. And he does throw it just a yard short of first down territory. Second completion for Stauffer. This one to Paul Green, the tight end, who is immediately tackled by David Howard, a yard short of the markers.
Stauffer has already found his favorite receiver in this young season, and it is Paul Green, who has come over from the Sacramento Surge in the World League of American Football. Of course, for you true football fans, you'll remember that Paul Green was their tight end and played awfully well there and has picked up right where he left off. In a lot of ways, he says that it's easier, the fact that you don't have an off season, you're just ready to play the next one.
Down. It looked like the Patriots were offside as John L. Williams and Chris Warren lining up in the backfield. It was Andre Tippett, the 11-year veteran, that came across prematurely.
Offside, defense, 5 yards, first down.
Watch Paul Green, the tight end, number 87. See if he moves just a little before the snap of the ball. You're going to see I don't know if I saw a lot of movement. I didn't see much of anything.
I saw Tippett move. I didn't see Paul Green move.
He was just ready to hit somebody.
Yeah, I think so. First down, just short of midfield for the Seahawks, opening series of the game. Handoff to Chris Warren. And Warren into Patriot territory to the 44-yard line.
Defensively, Jerome Henderson.
Chris Warren has really made an impression on this Seattle Seahawks coaching staff. He is a fourth-round draft pick from Ferrum College.
In Virginia.
Big Ferrum College. He was named the State College Division Offensive Player of the Year for both 1988 and 1989. He is truly a talent.
But he was a big-time recruit coming out of high school. In fact, started his career at the University of Virginia, then transferred to Ferrum, an NAIA school where he didn't have to sit out a year. Wide open out of the backfield is Warren, and he has another Seahawk first down. Johnny Remberg chases him out of bounds at about the 37-yard line, but Stauffer has the Seahawks moving. This drive began at their own 19-yard line, and he has them all the way down well into Patriots territory now.
This is the most comfortable I've seen Kelly Stauffer of the two games that they've played so far this year. Maybe the burden of having to replace Dave Craig is finally begin to be lifted from his shoulders. He said the biggest thing for him when Dave Craig was here was the fact that all the other players always looked to Craig as the quarterback. Well, now they're looking to me.
Stauffer under pressure, penalty marker down, and so is Kelly Stauffer. David Howard coming from his outside linebacker spot wrapped up Kelly Stauffer. There are penalty markers down. Boy, Howard is having a great game so far. He's been about the only defense the Patriots have mustered thus far.
Holding number 56. Penalty is declined. Second down.
Joe Toffelmeyer, the center, guilty of the hold.
And David Howard working against Ray Roberts on the left side of the screen. I take that back. He came all the way around and beat the back. That was Chris Warren, and there was a hold on the play anyway. But David Howard has really filled in very nicely for Chris Singleton, a #1 draft pick. They haven't missed him at all.
So now it's 2nd and 16. Nickel defense for the Patriots. And the Seahawks give it to Warren. And Warren charging ahead. Gets much of that penalty yardage back. Rod Smith, or that sack yardage back. Rod Smith, the rookie, second-round draft choice out of Notre Dame, had to make the tackle on Warren, who's already rushed for 21 yards.
In trying to handicap this game today, you had to assume that given the success that the Seahawks had running the football last week against Kansas City, they were going to have at least that much success against a slightly inferior New England Patriots defense, and so far that's exactly what's happened.
3rd and 6. Jones and Johnson are on for the Seahawks. Stauffer rolling, plenty of time. His pass to a wide-open Tommy Kane. Kane inside the 10 to the 5 and wrestled down at about the 3-yard line. Jerome Henderson saved the touchdown, but Kane was absolutely wide open, 31 yards.
Tom, it looks like that the New England Patriots have never seen a passing game before. They're leaving people wide open in the middle of the field. Oh, there you saw it. Number 37 for the Patriots, that's Maurice Hurst, got picked off by his own man. It was bump and run, man-to-man coverage that left Tommy Kane all alone. Another big play.
Randy Robbins and Maurice Hurst colliding, leaving Kane wide open.
One of the dangers that you run into on the field in running man-to-man coverages is that not only can you be picked off by opposing players, but more often than not, you can run into your own man. That's exactly what happened there, and it cost New England a big play.
And there's Maurice Hurst, who collided with Robbins, and Hurst is injured on the play. Hurst, the 4-year veteran out of Southern University, who started all but 3 career games for the Patriots and led them in interceptions a year ago. Kelly Stauffer, a perfect 4 for 4, has the Seahawks in scoring territory. Maurice Hurst on the New England bench, being looked at after being shaken up on that last play.
And that means that Rod Smith is going to get a chance to get into the ball game. A rookie from Notre Dame. He was the fastest player on the Fighting Irish team a year ago, and they really feel like that he is the future at the cornerback position for the Patriots.
9th play of the drive. First and goal, Seahawks. Warren to the corner for the touchdown.
exactly what you don't want to see if you're the New England Patriots, and that is a cakewalk down the field for the Seattle Seahawks. You just have to wonder if the primer of last week's game against a much tougher Kansas City Chiefs defense has really helped this Seahawk team, because that drive could not have been easier.
So Dick McPherson, the New England coach, saw his defense rocked back on its heels by that opening Seahawk drive as Seattle scores only its second touchdown in 3 games. The extra point up and good by Casey, and the Seattle Seahawks with an impressive 81-yard drive to open the game go up 7-0.
NFL on NBC is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold. By Little Caesars Pizza, where you always get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price. And by Castrol Syntec, the new synthetic oil that protects in ways other oils can't.
Good opening day crowd at Foxborough, a little shocked after that initial Seahawk drive, 81 yards for a score, just running through the New England defense at will. And now Casey to kick off for Seattle with Timpson and Vaughn deep for New England. Vaughn from the 4. To the outside, John Vaughn has speed. He cut it back inside and was tripped up across the 30. Still a good return. Patrick Hunter managed to trip up John Vaughn, who had a 30-yard return of the kickoff.
You're exactly right. John Vaughn does have tremendous speed. He won the 100 meters at the 1986 Junior Olympics with a time of 10.2. The fastest people in the world run about a 9.9.
So the New England offense gets its chance, directed by Hugh Millen. Millen, in his 5th year, grew up in Seattle as a Seahawk fan. He went to the very first Seattle Seahawk game. Went to the University of Washington. He'll pass on first down, and he swings it out of the backfield to Russell, and Leonard Russell picking his way, still on his feet. Nice run by Leonard Russell. It didn't look like it would net much. He got 5 or 6 yards out of it before Dwayne Harper pushes him out of bounds. Gene Chilton, the center, out there to make a nice block. As you see, that offensive line under fire this week after 7 sacks against the Rams. There are 3 first-round picks up front. Pro Bowler Armstrong, rookie Chung, second-year man Harlow. Millen playing today with a separated left shoulder, suffered in the first quarter last week. Fryer and Cook are dangerous receivers. Russell is the top rusher. Gain of 8 on that swing pass to Leonard Russell. And here is Leonard Russell. Stopped for a loss of a yard on that play by Joe Nash, who got penetration for the Seahawk defense. Like the New England offensive line, the Seahawks defensive line has 3 first-rounders, Bryant, Pro Bowl player Kennedy, and Woods. Porter leads the team in tackles and sacks. And in the secondary, it's Harper, Blackman, Robinson, and Hunter.
Yeah, and that is a good secondary. But it was interesting to see the Patriots come right out and throw on first down, almost a confidence builder for that offensive line.
2 tight ends on 3rd and 1, Cook and Coates. That's Cook in motion. Hand off to Russell, the tailback, trying to get to the first down marker and held just short, I think, as a couple of Seahawks clamped on and held on, preventing Russell from getting the first down by about half a yard. McPherson eyeing it. Look, how close are we, he's saying. Should I go for it early or not?
Well, last week they missed on 4th down. A lot of times coaches will get a little gun shy. If they don't have success on 4th down the first time around, they are not yet to midfield. They'll bring the chains out. So if it is short, which I believe it is, it'll be decision time for Dick McPherson.
I thought it was clearly short, but yes, it is. So the punt team onto the field for McPherson. They came up half a yard short of the first down. And Millen and McPherson talking it over.
I think that's a good decision. It's early in the ball game, especially given the way that Seattle moved the football on your team last time. You don't want to turn the football over to them on your own 43-yard line. This game could get out of control early.
Sean McCarthy had a workout a week ago, as you see. And Warren awaits the punt. Good kick by McCarthy. Warren backpedaling to his own 5-yard line. And the Patriots with good coverage surrounding Warren and taking him down at the 11. Good special team coverage led by Marv Cook of the Patriots after a 52-yard punt, only a 5-yard return. Tom Ham and Chris Collinsworth from Foxborough Stadium. The Patriots had a special promotion with some tickets here for the opening game. They took 10,000 tickets and made a special price just $10 each. One of the sponsors underwriting that effort and has helped them attract a crowd of 50,000. Sam Jankovic, who of course is the president of the Patriots, saying he thought this game awfully important to establish credibility with the fans, and so far not off to a good start.
Yeah, not off to a very good start at all. Maybe they should have come the following week.
Ron Heller is in at tight end replacing Paul Green, who's having his ankle x-rayed here at the stadium. Off the left side, John L. Williams with the carry, stopped by Tim Goad and David Howard. Maurice Hurst, who was shaken up earlier, has returned for the New England defense.
Just to go back and make the point, I'm sure most football fans realize by now that the rule on punt returns is that you don't back up and catch it inside your own 10-yard line. Well, that's exactly what Seattle's Chris Warren did, and now they had a terrible field position to work with. Clearly, if you had just let that ball bounce, they would have gotten it out to the 20.
Complete to the 21-yard line, a yard short of a first down. Vincent Brown with a tackle of John L. Williams. It'll be 3rd and short for the Seahawks, who lead 7-0 with 6.5 left in the opening quarter.
I'm really surprised that the Patriots haven't tried to put a little bit more pressure on Stauffer. The one thing that we've seen in the first 2 games is that both Cincinnati and Kansas City really got him rattled by coming after him. Maybe the fact that they had some completions down the field has New England just a little bit gun-shy, but the success against Stauffer early this year has been with pressure.
Fred Smerla's an extra down lineman here. Rembert out of the game. I formation Seahawks. Warren diving, and his second effort gets him across for the first down to the 25-yard line. It looked like he was stopped initially. Then he managed to spin his way forward and easily has the first down before Maurice Hurst puts him down for good.
We talked with Chris Warren yesterday, number 42, and he said that on short yardage, he really likes to run behind number 63, his right tackle, Ronnie Lee. That he is the one that most consistently gets the job done on short yardage, and once again, you see Ronnie Lee doing it.
Warren, 5 carries, 25 yards in the opening quarter. And dropped for a loss this time by Andre Tippett. Tippett, in his 11th year, says he makes up with experience and intelligence what he lacks in physical ability these days. Well, next Sunday, NBC Sports has an NFL doubleheader coming your way. Starts at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. Some of you will see Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills battle the Patriots. Others will see a classic rivalry renewed as John Elway and the Broncos face the Browns. Then in the second half of the doubleheader, some of you will see the Seahawks host the Dolphins or the Jets take on the Rams. That's next week here on NBC. Warren finds the seam, cuts to the outside, and finally tackled from behind after a gain of 9 yards. Chris Warren off to a good start, picking his way forward. And the Seahawks again close to a first down. David Howard gets another tackle.
This has been fairly easy so far for Seattle. You see number 64, Derek Brills, they're just blowing his man away. This has been a mismatch between the offensive line of Seattle and the defensive line of New England to this point.
Measurement upcoming. The Seahawks with another first down. They've been moving with ease against the New England defense. The Patriots had the ball once and had 3 and out. There's Tom Flores, who has returned to coaching. He told us yesterday that nowhere else would he have gotten back on the sideline except in Seattle. Some soul searching after he had interviewed some head coaching candidates led him to take up this opportunity to return as a head coach. He had coached the Raiders, of course, for 9 years. Stauffer's pass, was it good or trapped? No, incomplete. It hit the ground first. It'll go as an incomplete pass. Tommy Kane couldn't quite pick it up off the grass.
We talked to linebacker Vincent Brown, who was an alternate for the Pro Bowl last year, the New England Patriots linebacker, and there you see Ronnie Lee, who is Chris Warren's favorite short yardage blocker. But when we talked to Vincent Brown, he said the one thing that we have to do against Seattle is stop the run. We have to stop their run, and then we feel like we can control their passing game. Well, what you're seeing is that they have not been able to stop the run, and Stauffer has been able to throw at will.
While they tend to Ronnie Lee, we'll take a break with the Seahawks leading the Patriots 7-0 in the first. Big Ronnie Lee, all 300 pounds of him, stretched out on the Seahawk bench as they tend to his injury. It looks like it's a knee or a calf, perhaps. Can't tell for sure. He's replaced by Bill Hitchcock at the right tackle spot. John L. Williams, not much there. Tim Goad led the defensive charge for the New England Patriots. Goad is the nose tackle for Joe Collier's defense, which has been shredded so far by the Seahawk attack.
Joe Collier is a fine defensive coach. He was really made out to be the scapegoat for the Denver Broncos losing all those Super Bowls and let go now here with New England. But you know that he knows that he can get the job done for New England. Defense has not been the problem for this football team.
See the great disparity in time of possession. Here's the dime defense on the field for the Patriots, 3rd and long. Stauffer, no pressure on him, and he almost had it picked off. Through the hands of David Poole, who looked like he had it measured for the interception. Lewis Clark was the intended receiver. Not a good throw by Stauffer.
Stauffer did not go through his progression on that play. He had Tommy Kane open deep. Now, in general on this pattern, watch Tommy Kane from behind at the very top of your screen there. They broke on that ball awfully early. Generally, that guy, Tommy Kane, is just the clear man. But every once in a while, the defensive backs get greedy, and quarterbacks will more often than not skip that step in the progression. And if Stauffer had looked deep and gone through his progression, he may well have had a long touchdown on that one.
First stop of the day for the Patriots as Tootin with a towering kick to Timpson. Timpson fields it at the 11, trying to get to the outside, and Pants tripped up at the 15-yard line. Another fielding of a punt deep in your own territory. 52-yard punt, only a 4-yard Timpson return before he's tackled by Rob Thomas. NBC's Premiere Week continuing Monday with all new episodes of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Blossom, followed by an NBC World Premiere movie based on the true story Carolyn Sapp, Miss America 1992, stars in her own remarkable story, Miss America Behind the Crown. That's the lineup Monday nights here on NBC. Well, 3 plays so far in the first quarter with only 3:10 left for the Patriots. Let's see if they get something going from their own 15. Millen still has the ball. Is that a busted play? Makes a nice run out of it. He got 6 yards.
Not anymore. That one will go into playbook.
Excuse me, 10-yard gain by Millen.
Clearly this was a busted play. He tried to reach for the handoff, and what teams are doing in the National Football League right now, they are teaching their quarterbacks to really try and reach out and stretch to that corner. Well, that time Leonard Russell got a little too far ahead of Hugh Millen.
Millen was sprinting to try to get there.
Yeah, but he did exactly what they teach you, and that's if you blow the handoff, just go ahead and turn and run through the hole.
He got 10 yards and the initial first down of the game for the Patriots. Millen, quick drop, pass complete to McMurtry. And McMurtry out of bounds, close to another Patriot first down. Robert Blackman on the Seahawk coverage. Another 10-yard gain.
McMurtry is their possession receiver. We saw last week that the Patriots just fell in love with that quick hitch, and as long as they're going to give it to them, they'll just take it. We talked to Hugh Millen yesterday and Dick Corey, their offensive coordinator, and he said expect us to use our scat package, which is basically reading the defenses backwards. They will go from their fullback to the tight end, then to the wide receiver. They want to make sure they don't give up 7 sacks like they did last week. First down pass by Millen. Over the middle to Cook, the tight end, and he has
an 11 or 12-yard gain. David Wyman tackles in for the Seahawks. It is 12 yards, and Cook, who went to the Pro Bowl last year after leading all NFL tight ends with 82 receptions and over 800 yards.
Yeah, and he's been a big target for Hugh Millen. He said that he played maybe the worst game of his professional career last week against the Rams, so I'm sure he's happy to get off to a quick start here today.
And Hugh Millen, separated left shoulder and all, has hit 3 for 3, 30 yards thus far. Hand off to Russell, and the Seahawks ready for it. Throwing him back is Terry Wooden. Wooden, an outside linebacker in his third year from Syracuse, played for the Orangemen under Dick McPherson, and his brother JoJo is a defensive end on this year's Syracuse team. Blasted by the Ohio State Buckeyes last night.
Yes. This was the first time during the course of this ball game that we have seen the Seattle Seahawks in their 8-man front. They used it almost exclusively last week against Kansas City. They guessed right that time that New England would run, and they were able to shut it down.
Final minute of the first quarter, Seattle up 7-0. Millen hit the ball loose and picked up by one of his linemen, Gene Chilton, the center. Millen was hit before he ever had a chance to set up. And that had to hurt with that separated shoulder. It was Jeff Bryant that got the penetration.
I believe it may have been Cortez Kennedy. Yeah, it was. Number 99. Cortez Kennedy just acted like there was no one even trying to block him. You notice a number change on Cortez Kennedy this year, wearing number 99, of course, in honor of Jerome Brown, his very close friend that he shared a house with at one time in Orlando and passed away in a car accident this offseason.
So it was the Pro Bowler Cortez Kennedy that made the stop. Seattle 7-0 at the end of the first quarter in Foxborough. From Foxborough Stadium, where Hugh Millen is 3 for 3 thus far, testing that throwing arm. He's got a 3rd and 12 upcoming after that big Cortez Kennedy play.
And if you're Dick Corey, this is a situation that you do not want to put this offensive line in. Last week they had a lot of trouble trying to contain the Los Angeles Rams. Keep an eye on the right side of the Patriot line. Pat Harlow, Eugene Chung, that's where all 7 sacks came last week.
Chung, a rookie. Harlow, coming off back surgery, has practiced little. Millen floats it downfield, and it's almost intercepted. There was a receiver long down the sideline, Timpson, and McMurtry shorter, and the ball landed between them. Patrick Hunter of the Seahawks, in fact, was closest to it.
I watched the ball game last week against the Rams, and I was amazed at the style of offense that the Patriots were using. It seemed that it was either a bomb 50 yards down the field, or it was a 5-yard hitch or something out of the backfield to one of the backs. They have had almost no success so far this season in throwing those intermediate routes.
Short kick by McCarthy. Warren calls for a fair catch and takes it at the 24-yard line. Well, Patriots had the offense going for a moment, but it stalled, and only a 30-yard punt by McCarthy, so Flores and company with pretty good field position, leading 7-0.
This Patriot offense has been stuck in neutral since they kicked it off last week. The closest they got to the goal line was a 38-yard field goal attempt, which they missed. And they it was never even close to scoring a touchdown.
In neutral, not even in first gear?
Not even close to first gear. And here, once again, they can't get over the 50-yard line.
Yeah, they're going to have to double clutch then and get something going. The defense back on the field. Fred Smerlis in at the nose tackle, replacing Tim Gold on this series as Williams goes in motion, and the handoff is to Warren. Warren to the outside, down the sideline, one man to beat, and Maurice Hurst, or David Poole, finally pushes him out of bounds.
They told us yesterday that Chris Warren is a guy that doesn't look fast, and I agree with that. He doesn't look like he's running very fast. He is, in fact, a 4.5 sprinter. With 4.5, I know I wasn't the fastest guy in the world, but that's what I ran playing wide receiver, and he weighs 220 pounds. And he almost was able to turn the corner. Maurice Hurst barely knocking him out of bounds. I'll tell you, he's really a talent. They were trying to tell me, I didn't know that much about Chris Warren, but everybody on the Seahawks team was talking about how talented he is, and I'm beginning to get my first taste of it.
As a defensive back, switched to running back as a sophomore at Virginia before he left there and went to Ferrum. Stauffer. Deep down the sideline. receiver. And Jerome Henderson defending for the Patriots.
This is exactly what Tom Flores does not want Kelly Stauffer to do. There was nobody open down the field. Tommy Kane is not open. You do not throw the ball down there in that situation. James Jones got stuffed underneath. He was not open. Tommy Kane was not open. You have a bad play on your hands. Throw it away. Throw it away and give your offense another chance. And so far, Stauffer has not learned that lesson.
Rod Smith in the secondary for the Patriots. Their nickel defense on second down. Stauffer across the middle, short completion to midfield. John L. Williams taking the pass, and David Howard on the tackle.
Last week, Tom Flores was very conservative indeed in third and long situations. In 3rd and 10 plus, I don't believe he ever threw the ball. They ran 4 or 5 consecutive draw plays. Now they're at about a 3rd and 8. So we shall see exactly how much confidence. I guarantee you, him throwing deep down the sideline did not add to Tom Flores' confidence in Kelly Stauffer.
Now the dime defense for New England on 3rd down. Williams the only setback as Stauffer back to pass. Under pressure this time and throws it away behind the intended receiver, who was Doug Thomas.
They're going to mix it up a little bit now.
That's the most action the Patriots have seen all day.
They finally have something to cheer. They love this part of it. Looked like Stauffer had just about had enough. But you see what we talked about in the open here, Tom, that when there is pressure applied, when they get in his face, he is quick to get rid of the football and not nearly as accurate as when you allow him to just sit back there and watch. Watch his eyes, watch his feet here. Very uncomfortable. They came with what looked like a safety blitz on the play, and he just had to dump it, almost threw an interception.
Dion Lambert was the man right in Stauffer's face as you see the fight that broke out at the conclusion of the play. No damage done. There's Kelly Stauffer right in the middle of it, though. Usually you quarterbacks, and you were a quarterback before you were a wide receiver, are usually ducking for cover about that time.
Yeah, I'd be overlooking for Andre Tippett with those 3 black belts. I always look to find a friend in those situations.
Stauffer, though, was in the middle of it, but escaped unharmed. And Irving Fryer is back to receive this punt for New England. There's
Reset the 25-second clock to 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Well, he's a little angry about it. Jerry getting a little angry about the malfunction or the false setting of the play clock, which he wants at 10, and he still doesn't have it. They're going to let him go anyway. Here's the punt by Tootin. And Fryer back there for the first time this season. Tootin booms it all the way to the end zone, and Fryer never gets a chance. On the touchback, the Patriots will take over at their 20 after that 50-yard boot. Seahawks continue to lead by a touchdown. And Chris Collinsworth from Foxborough Stadium, where the Seahawks lead 7-0 over the Patriots, who take over at their own 20-yard line. 13:02 left in the first half.
They desperately need to put something together. We're well into the second quarter now, and 5 consecutive quarters without scoring any points, and really no relief in sight so far out of this Patriots offense.
There's Stevens in as a wide receiver, and a running play is stacked up by Cortez Kennedy. He almost could have taken the handoff. That's how fast he was back there. And it'll be a 6-yard New England loss.
Who is blocking Cortez Kennedy?
Nobody.
This is unbelievable. Watch number 99, Cortez Kennedy. They had a play, Bruce Armstrong, their all-pro tackle, pulled, and Cortez Kennedy just too fast. You've got to block him, even if the play's going away. That'll be the last we see of that little counter play.
Fryer and Timpson wide left. A draw play to Russell with penalty markers down, and Russell only 2 yards. Terry Wooden covering that play for the Seahawks.
Offside, number 87 of the defense. 5 yards, repeat, second down.
97.
Yeah, 97.
Rufus Porter. He just tried to jump the gun a tad, but what a football player he is. He was signed as an undrafted free agent in 1988 as we have another injury on the field. But Rufus Porter has really turned into the star of this team on the defensive side, along with Cortez Kennedy. He leads his team in both tackles and sacks. But
He had 11 tackles against the Chiefs last week. Robert Blackman is the injured Seahawk player, the starting strong safety. And we'll take a break.
On NBC is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance. By cold-filtered Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Allstate Insurance Company. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Robert Blackman might have taken a shot in the ribs. It looked like he was grimacing while holding his ribs. He is replaced in the secondary by Nesby Glasgow, who was drafted by the Baltimore Colts. That's right, Baltimore Colts in 1979. Patriots have only 36 yards total offense so far. Millen completes it to Russell. Russell retreating, looking for blockers. Instead finds Cortez Kennedy.
Cortez said, look what I found. That's what happens, though, if you hustle the way that Cortez Kennedy does. Completely out of the play. Absolutely no chance of ever making this tackle. You'll see him here, number 99, going to rush the passer, double teamed as always. Now he'll turn around and say, well, I might as well just try in case for the film, you know, I get in trouble. And wait a minute, here comes Leonard Russell. Let me get a little piece of him. Little kiss on the cheek. Thank you very much. Tackle for a loss.
Exactly what Leonard had in mind. 5 carries minus 4 yards for Russell now. Millen on 3rd and long. Steps up, delivers. Fryer, was he in bounds? Yes, the catch good, but I think he's short of the first down. Now how can a veteran like Irving Fryer come up a yard short of the first down? Answer that one for me.
Well, I never like to work too hard on the wide receivers, but you're right. He's clearly back inside the line. The hard part
I guess
about
the ball was delivered there for one thing.
Well,
that was the only place he could catch it.
But again, in that situation, you have to drive up well past the sticks because you know the quarterback's going to draw you back. You're exactly right. That's a mistake by Irving Fryer.
Warren awaiting the punt by McCarthy. Has it at the 29. Slips a couple of tackles and then taken down. So that was a 42-yard kick and a 3-yard return. Now Stauffer's turn. Dick McPherson had a death in the family yesterday. His sister passed away. He missed practice attending her funeral. He was telling me yesterday that the only thing that establishes credibility with your fans for a franchise is winning. Here's Warren for a gain of 2 or 3. And he said if we don't start to win, we won't have any credibility no matter what. As you know, this franchise in New England has undergone a tremendous amount of off-field upheaval, owners, other incidents, penalty against the Seahawks.
Number 81 of the offense was backing up from the line of scrimmage at the time of the snap. Illegal motion. 5 yards, repeat, first down.
So Kane was retreating as the ball was snapped.
Watch Tommy Kane just try to get his alignment before the snap of the ball, and they're going to say that is illegal motion. I suppose it is, yes.
That didn't hurt anything, did it?
They're not allowed to do that, though, so it's 5 yards worth. You know, he grew up in Canada and was a midget hockey teammate of Mario Lemieux.
He was born in Montreal, was Tommy Kane. Pretty good company. Stauffer's pass. Too wide for John Williams to catch, and Vincent Brown was right there, and Casey Had made the reception. You see Stauffer shaking his head after that misfire.
Well, Tom Flores, I don't think it's any secret. He would like to mold this team into the 1990 version of the Raiders. And he's well on his way. He drafted Ray Roberts, the #1 this year at left tackle. He's got Andy Heck, a #1 pick at left guard. Very satisfied with their play along with Joe Tofflemeyer. But I think on the right side, he'd like to upgrade that offensive line and add a little speed at the wide receiver position.
And off to Warren to the 31-yard line. Got 4 yards. It'll be 3rd and long. Howard and Edwards making the play. Tim Edwards just activated this week from the New England practice squad. He was on the practice squad all last year. A 12th round draft choice from Delta State.
And another injury.
This is the third or fourth Seahawk to go down in the game, and I think it's Chris Warren, their leading rusher. And Warren has been off to a good start, carrying the bulk of the ground game for the Seahawks, who lead 7-0, with the clock showing just under 10 minutes left in the opening half. Warren, well, it's not Warren, it's
Ron Heller, I believe.
Ron Heller,
tight end.
82, a tight end.
It's like he banged his wrist. Take a look and see if you can see where he got hurt. Ron Heller, number 82. All of a sudden just grabs his wrist and goes down. I don't know if he got it caught in a helmet or underneath the pads and it just got twisted or exactly what happened. They're hurting the tight end right now. Both Paul Green and Ron Heller out with injuries. We'll see how they handle it.
Trey Junkin, their only remaining tight end. Stauffer is 6 for 11. He hit his first 5 passes, but since then only 1 of 6. Tippett trying to put on pressure, and Stauffer has a man wide open. And recovering on the play was Maurice Hurst. The ball hung. Hurst closed the gap and was able to knock it away from Tommy Kane.
Ooh, was that lucky. Tommy Kane had at least 1, maybe 2 steps on Maurice Hurst. See how he got, oh, he just whipped right by him. Maurice Hurst guessing on the play, but the great thing about the National Football League, in order to play corner, you have to have that catch-up speed, and you saw it out of Maurice Hurst there.
So the Patriots narrowly avert disaster, and Timpson awaits the punt. Hangs high for Tootin. Timpson with a fair catch call made at the 21-yard line. Right now, let's go to Bob Costas at NFL Live for an update. Bob?
Injury updates here, Tom. At Lambeau Field, where the Bengals lead the Packers 3-0, Green Bay hopes Don Majkowski's injury is only a sprained left ankle. X-rays are coming at halftime. Brett Favre is in at quarterback for them now. Meanwhile, at the Meadowlands, where San Francisco has a 14-0 lead on the Jets, here's the bad news for the Niners. John Taylor, the great wide receiver, fractured left fibula. Early reports out at least 6 weeks. Back to Tom.
All right, Bob, bad news then for the 49ers despite their 14-0 lead, and good news for former Bengal Chris Collinsworth. David Shula's team must be for real.
They could go to 3-0 today.
Miller's pass deep down the sideline and knocked away. Never had a chance, really. Fryer was there, but Dwayne Harper was step for step with him, and Harper knocked it away. There's a flag on the play. Good position by Dwayne Harper.
Illegal use of hands. Number 99 to the face. 5 yards. First down.
Cortez Kennedy trying to get a piece of somebody's face in there.
Tom Flory's not wanting to see the big mistake, but take a look at Dwayne Harper. I mean, Irving Fryer can absolutely fly. You'll see Cortez Kennedy here applying the pressure, and yep, he got the hand up underneath the face mask. Cortez is not what you call a finesse guy, but now you're going to see Dwayne Harper down the field, and you're not going to just run by that young man. He is a blazer, a 4.4 40-yard dash guy, and there aren't many faster than he is in this league.
He wasn't taken until the 11th round in '88 out of South Carolina State, as Russell gets short yardage for the Patriots. Eugene Robinson on the tackle. Harper made Sports Illustrated's all-NFL team last year. He's one of the best corners, I guess, that you're not familiar with, although the fans in Seattle certainly are.
Yeah, all across this secondary, they are very talented indeed. Hunter, Harper, Blackman, and Eugene Robinson. Of course, Eugene Robinson was voted the MVP by his teammates last year, but they can play with anybody in Seattle secondary.
Second down for the Patriots, trying to get something going offensively with 8:37 left in the first half. Down to the Seahawks 7-0. John Stevens. Got a yard before he stacked up with the center of the Seahawk defense.
Defensively, Tony Woods in on Stevens.
Well, I think we can make the assumption now that they're not going to run on Seattle's defense. They've been trying all afternoon. It's not working. McPherson really is going to have to make a decision here. He would much prefer to run the football in this ball game. It has not worked. After giving up 7 quarterback sacks last week, he really doesn't want to put Hugh Millen in that position very often, but they simply have not had enough success running the football. They've had some success throwing on first down. They're going to have to rely on that formula.
They're 0 for 3 on third down conversions, and they'll take a timeout to talk about this one coming up on 3rd and 3 as they trail the Seattle Seahawks 7-0 with 7:53 left to play in the first quarter from Foxborough. New England offensive coordinator Dick Coury trying to come up with a 3rd and 3 play that will succeed and keep the drive going. Marv Cook in motion. Millen in trouble and sacked. The ball loose. New England got it back. Second sack of the day, and Cortez Kennedy once again was all over Hugh Millen. Bruce Armstrong recovered the fumble.
They can't block him. They just cannot block him. Reggie Redding doing his best, but it is no contest. You see there Cortez Kennedy's favorite move. He told me yesterday that he loves to fake inside and then jump outside around the guard, that most guards don't think he's quick enough to make that move, but he does it time after time after time.
McCarthy to punt. Another good one. Warren from the 24. Chased down and slipping tacklers. Back to the 25-yard line or so before Tim Gordon makes the stop. McCarthy booted that one 49 yards. Credit Warren with only a 1-yard return. Reminder that next Sunday we'll have NFL doubleheader for you here, starting at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. Some of you will see the Bills take on the Patriots. Others will see John Elway and the Broncos against the Cleveland Browns. Second half of the doubleheader, it'll be either the Seahawks and the Dolphins or the Jets taking on the Rams. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Doubleheader week next Sunday on NBC. First down, Seahawks leading New England 7-0. Stauffer, knocked from his hand, it came right back to him. Fortunate bounce for Stauffer, who then is hit as he delivers it incomplete. Andre Tippett, relentless in his pursuit of Kelly Stauffer, knocked the ball away and then came right back to get it.
Looked like a karate chop. We told you he's a triple black belt, and watch this. He's going to come around, make the play on Stauffer to begin with.
Swiped it away with a big paw.
And now go back and get him again. Watch this, a big karate chop. He has his own karate school. Whoa.
Tippett was telling us yesterday that in Newark, New Jersey, as an 8-year-old, he learned karate to defend himself from the older guys that were beating on him.
I find that hard to believe. I mean, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how old those kids were.
Second down play, Stauffer. Screen pass complete to Williams. Williams rambles for a first down. Tackled from behind by Vincent Brown, but the screen works for 11 yards.
Boy, nice job by Joe Toffelmeyer out in front of that screen. He got a huge block that sprung John L. Williams. Watch the center now, number 56. He does his job, stops penetration, now gets out quickly in front. You'll see him, boom, right there. That's what turned the corner. He was able to take out Vincent Brown, and Vincent Brown is no small human being. We had a chance to talk with Vincent Brown yesterday. Looks like he may have hurt his arm on that block. Not surprised. Vincent Brown is an animal. If you shake hands with him, you better have both feet on the ground.
Grant Fiesel in at center for the Seahawks. Give to Warren. Stacked up at the line of scrimmage with Johnny Rembert leading the defensive charge.
Johnny Rembert.
As you see the scores, Cincinnati leading Green Bay 10-0 after a 95-yard punt return by the rookie from Tennessee, Carl Pickett.
I told you you're not supposed to back up inside the 10-yard line and return a punt.
From the 5, he took it all the way. Philadelphia 17-0 over Denver now. Randall Cunningham, another big day for the Eagles. Here, it's the Seahawks 7-0, second and 6 play as Stauffer has hit 7 of his first 14 passes, 78 yards. Delayed handoff to Warren. yard thrown back by the red-shirted Patriot defense.
Yeah, we told you that Seattle had begun to play an 8-man front. Well, that time New England comes out. Joe Collier said, I've seen enough of this running game down my throat. If all you're going to do is come out and run it on first and second down every time, I can stack up 8 people as well. Now they put Stauffer in a throwing position.
And let's see if they can get some pressure on him now. They've had success putting pressure on him in obvious passing situations. They have 6 defensive backs on. Stauffer with a point as he calls out the play.
No pressure.
None whatsoever. And now the pocket collapses. Stauffer still got it off. And the pass knocked down by David Poole. Kane was the intended receiver. Somehow Stauffer got the ball away in the face of the rush from Ray Agnew and others. And David Poole broke on the ball to bat it down.
This is as good a defensive play as you will ever see. Watch a little holding there as well.
Little.
But David Poole is going to come right over the top, time it perfectly. That is a great, great defensive play.
Well, he kept his body from making contact until the hand had knocked the ball loose. What body control by David Poole in his 3rd year out of Carson Newman College in Tennessee.
That Michael Jordan hang time.
Yeah. Timpson from his 7. Stumbled down at the 10. Good open field tackle made by Tracy Johnson of the Seahawks. There's a penalty marker on the play.
Looked like one of my punt returns. He couldn't quite get his feet underneath him, but once again, another dumb play by the receiver. Catching it inside the 10-yard line. It's just the Cardinal rule. You don't do that. And now it looks like they're going to have a penalty on top of it. They'll take over possession on about the 4-yard line. Field position killed them last week, too.
Illegal block from behind, number 51. You're in the run back. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Now you're dead. You're down there at the 5-yard line. It's almost impossible to score when you have to go 95 yards, especially given the offensive troubles that the Patriots have had.
Eugene Lockhart guilty of the penalty. Now they are, as you point out, backed up. Larry Williams at right guard has replaced the rookie first-round draft choice Eugene Chung on this series.
And they're in the U2 end zone. This was the end zone that was torn up during the 3 U2 concerts.
I thought it was Guns N' Roses when that last one did the thing. 4 concerts anyway on this field. Here's Russell finding a hole to the left side. Russell to the outside. A stiff arm gets him to the 29-yard line. There is a penalty marker down after that 23-yard Russell run. Patrick Hunter hanging on for dear life to make the tackle.
Looked like a face mask right at the end of the play. We'll see.
Personal foul, tackling by the face mask, number 27, 15 yards, first down.
Flores doesn't believe it, but Hunter got him down with a face mask, and Russell suddenly puts a charge in the New England offense.
Take a look at this. It didn't look like it was intentional, which is what they're saying by making this a 15 rather than a 5-yard penalty. See what... he about ripped his head off. Maybe that was intentional.
And boy, Russell gave it back in kind. He made the first blow with a stiff arm to Patrick Hunter's helmet.
You know, it's a bit of a strange rule that the offensive player can jam his hand into the face mask, but the defensive player can't.
Millen,
look out, look out.
Fryer looks downfield to throw. On the flea flicker, it wobbles, intended for Cook, and it was way out of bounds, never had a chance. And there's a penalty on this one, too. That one ought to be penalized for ugliness.
And ineligible man down the field as well. But there was nobody open. But you don't give the ball to a wide receiver and tell him to throw it and have him not throw it. He's throwing it regardless. Believe me, it didn't matter what happened down the field. Irving Fryer was going to wait.
Receiver downfield, number 77, 10 yards, repeat, first down.
Now, looks like one of David Michaels' aerials, our producer.
That was a duck. That was a full-fledged duck. But I'm happy to see Irving Fryer back and playing well. This is a young man that has been through so many difficult times during the course of his career.
Now, this is the guy you said was washed up 2 years ago, is that correct?
Well, I kind of inspired him on. He told me yesterday that I was the inspiration behind his play the last couple of years.
Oh.
Once again, right on the money.
Millen's pass behind McMurtry and incomplete. So just when it appeared New England had things going, penalties, mistakes, and now the boos rain down.
Just to get back to Irving Fryer for a minute, you know, he is now a licensed Baptist minister. He got licensed this past summer. He says his goal after football is to have his own church. He wants to be a Baptist preacher when it's all said and done. Said he's had the calling since he was 17 years old, but the good Lord's had to kick him in the shorts a few times to get him to move in that direction. Says he hasn't done drugs in over 5 years, so I'm happy to hear his life's going in the right direction.
Best year ever last season. Millen across the middle completes it. He'll be well short of a first down catch by Coates. Blackman and Glasgow pounce on him immediately, and it'll be 3rd and long for the Patriots. Millen has hit 5 of 8 now.
But for the most part, they've been the short ball control variety. Here they are, 3rd down and 13. And as coaches like to say, you make the call here, because this is not a pleasant situation. You're only down 7-0 in this ball game. It'll be interesting to see just how risky Dick McPherson is with this play.
Millen trying to buy some time as he rolls. Being chased and sacked. 3rd sack of the day by the Seahawk defense. He's back to the 29-yard line. That time, it was Rufus Porter, the leading sack master on this Seahawk team.
That's the amazing things about defensive players in the league now. They are more athletic. Defensive linemen and linebackers are every bit as athletic as most backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers. Watch the moves. You're just not going to get away from Rufus Porter. He's a better athlete than is Hugh Millen.
Another Seahawk injury. This has been...
Well, once again, this is Robert Blackman for the second time, right? I don't know exactly what it is, but it appears to be just... Maybe it's his ankle now. It was his rib cage before. Probably wondering why he made this trip.
Blackman in his 3rd year out of Baylor. Limping to the sideline.
He's the big hitter in that secondary. Looks like he's taken a few today. Guess who's back in the game? Sean McCarthy.
This could be number 5.
He should rework his contract to get paid per kick.
That's his, 12th of the season coming up in 2 games. 1.5, actually.
Gets dibs on the Whirlpool.
Doing a good job with it anyway. Warren, fair catch at the 26. Stay with us now. Coming up at halftime, the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime reports. Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, and special guest Buddy Ryan will have scores and highlights, plus Gail Gardner with a feature on the Cleveland Browns' rejuvenated receiver Mark Bavaro. That's all coming up at halftime on the Domino's Pizza halftime report.
How about old Buddy? He's looking good, isn't he? All that time on the horse farm in the great state of Kentucky seems to have done him well.
I thought he'd be back in coaching now. What do we have, 9 coaching changes, something in the offseason? I thought he'd be back on the sideline.
You know, I talked to Hugh Culverhouse, the owner of the Buccaneers, and he very seriously considered him for that job before hiring Sam Weich.
Happy with the decision he made, I would guess.
I would assume.
Blitz coming from Tippett. Seahawks pick it up. There's a flag down as Warren makes the catch and is out of bounds around the 35-yard line, chased out by Vincent Brown.
There's a penalty marker dropped at the 22.
Boy, there have been a lot of penalties in this game so far. Very sloppily played game.
Not
illegal formation. Number 81 is covering up the end. 5 yards. Repeat, first down.
Covering up the end. Now that means that he was on the line of scrimmage while there was another eligible wide receiver inside him. So Tommy Kane
has had trouble getting comfortable out there, hasn't he?
You know, sometimes you start moving around and playing different positions. Don't forget Brian Blades not in the lineup. It's possible he had to go from, say, a split into a flanker position and just not comfortable with it yet.
9 penalties in the game. Stauffer again, Tippett's after him. Got rid of it, though, in the flat to Williams as they try to set up the screen. And the Patriots, unlike the last time, were ready for it this time. Johnny Rembert smelled it out.
Watch number 56, Andre Tippett. everybody has their favorite linebacker. I'm not so sure that Andre Tippett is not a better player or has been a better player than was Lawrence Taylor. And the reason I say that is he has played over the tight end his entire career, has a career 84 quarterback sacks. Lawrence Taylor has about 110, 115, but he played on the offside without a tight end in front of him. 85 quarterback sacks without a tight end in front, or with the tight end in front of you, is an incredible number. It's simply amazing.
Now you're saying that Andre Tippett is a better linebacker than Lawrence Taylor?
Well, I would say, honestly, Tom, he is as good. When he was in his prime, he was every bit the linebacker. And the fact that he was able to come up with that kind of number, when I was going through the press book last night and saw 85 quarterback sacks, essentially 84 and a half, I was amazed, because you just don't get those kinds of numbers playing over the tight end. For the most part, you're not even blitzing all the time. If you're playing a cover 2 defense with the 2 deep secondaries, your job isn't even to go after the quarterback. You have to hold up the tight end, keep him from getting down the field, and that's your main responsibility, not rushing the quarterback.
Nickel defense for the Patriots, 2nd and 17 for the Seahawks. They lead 7-0. See just over 2 minutes left. On the ground to Williams. Coming up from the corner and making a nice tackle, the rookie Rod Smith. And the clock stops at the 2-minute mark for the 2-minute warning. If you're a fan of punts, you've liked this one so far. Tom Hammond, Chris Collinsworth, 2 minutes left in the first half from Foxborough. Seahawks 7-0. Has it been good defense or inept offense?
A little bit of both, to be honest. But now we've got a situation where the Patriots will have a chance to get the football back. It's a 3rd down and 15. It's a dangerous play now for Seattle. They don't want to turn the football over, but at the same time, they don't want an incomplete pass. They want to make New England burn a timeout after this play. Don't be surprised to see some kind of a draw.
2 of 5 on 3rd downs for Seahawks. Stauffer looks way downfield. Nobody's going to get that one unless it's a Patriot, and it was Jerome Henderson that had a chance to make the catch. Clark was the intended receiver, and once again, you're right on the money with the call as they go deep.
But you know what that was? That was a punt.
Oh, okay.
That was a punt. If they make the interception, exactly. They said, the heck with it. If they make the interception, we'll tackle him. He can throw it farther than our kicker can kick it, so why not? And that's what that play is. You tell your wide receiver on that play, just make sure you make the tackle. Quarterbacks don't like that call, and he should have run a running play. Now they didn't have to use their timeout.
Tootin will kick to Timpson, and the Patriots will get the ball. High snap. Tootin pulled it down and got it away, and another good kick. The punters have been outstanding. Timpson from his 24. Can he make the corner? No, tripped up at the 31-yard line. Another good open field tackle. Nesby Glasgow got a piece of it. 53-yard punt, and Timpson brought it back 7.
Well, now you get into the 2-minute offense. You have a chance to put in your wide receivers, all 3 of them. They don't have 4 wide receivers on this team. They only have 3. They've been trying to find another one, have not been able to. But here's a moment in the ball game. You have to try and create something offensively. Plenty of time, 1:41 left, and you have the opportunity to go down and put points on the board for the first time this season.
Thank you.
First time this entire season now, they're hoping to get a few points, and it looks like Rufus Porter is having a problem as well. That would be a big blow for the Seahawks.
Hugh Millen has hit 5 of 8 passes, 48 yards, as Porter now has to get off his feet.
Individual game tickets are now on sale. Just stop by.
But this is just one of those moments for Hugh Millen. He really wants to try and prove himself. You know, there was a lot of speculation that they were going to draft David Klingler here in New England, had Cincinnati not surprised everybody and taking them with like the 6th pick, I believe it was, in the draft. But Dick Curry was adamant about it, the offensive coordinator. He said no. He said, we had no intention whatsoever of drafting David Klingler, but you have to think that it was a bit of a blow to Hugh Millen's ego after throwing for 3,000 yards a year ago, and then have all the speculation be that you're going to draft yet another quarterback. But Dick Curry said that if you put Hugh Millen on the field with Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Warren Moon, and don't put jerseys on them so that you don't know who they are, that he would fit right in with that crowd. He has all the physical tools that he can throw the football with any of those guys. It's just a matter of him mentally maturing and getting ready to play this season.
Rufus Porter back on his feet, but having to leave the game.
Yeah, if you cause a delay, you have to come out for a play. Looks like he'll be back in on the next one.
And the Patriots have put their speedster, John Vaughn, in the game. He's number 24. Patriots trying to get something going. Millen with a quick pass in traffic and knocked away. He was lucky that one wasn't intercepted. Intended for McMurtry, who had 2 men around him.
They cannot complete a pass between 10 and 30 yards. I don't think they've completed one so far this season. The only thing they've had any success with is dumping off to the backs and the tight ends or even throwing deep. They have not completed anything in the middle of the field.
Millen from the shotgun. Sideline pattern to Fryer, complete with a gain of about 7 yards, just short of the 40, where Malcolm Frank takes him out of bounds.
Irving said yesterday that they desperately need to pick up another wide receiver. He said, I just cannot make it through this entire season with only 3. It's not just the games, it's practice as well.
Millen loads and fires incomplete to Cook on the sideline.
Well, finally these Patriot fans have had enough. I mean, and it's deserved. 6 quarters now without scoring any points.
They haven't even been inside the opponent's 20 this season.
It has not been close. It has not even been close. They missed one 38-yard field goal, and that was their only attempt to score points this entire year. And this is really getting to be embarrassing. And let's face it, the Rams and the Seahawks aren't exactly the Philadelphia Eagles of the National Football League.
You're so kind. McCarthy's 6th punt, taken by Warren on a fair catch. And while there hasn't been much excitement in this game, we promise you some at halftime as Buddy Ryan joins Bob and OJ for the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report.
I bet you Buddy loves this game. You know, he's sitting there saying, I love it. We have defense, nobody's scoring any points. This is the way football should be.
Well, I'm glad someone is.
I bet you that guy's not, though. Dick McPherson has had an unpleasant weekend to date.
He'll send his dime defense on the field with 6 defensive backs. With 1:24 remaining in the opening half, 7-0 Seattle. They scored on an 81-yard drive, the opening drive of the football game.
And the worst part about that New England non-drive, 3 and out, is that now you've given Kelly Stoffer a chance to put points on the board for the Seahawks.
Let's see how he fares. First down pass. Dumped it off to Williams. John L. can't get going. Only a gain of 3 or 4 yards as the clock continues to tick. Seahawks have 1 timeout left.
I like what Stoffer did that time. Just kind of stiffed arm there, gave himself a little room, almost like Ali sticking his jab in the face of Joe Frazier.
Wasn't quite that powerful, but got the job done as Stoffer will complete another short one. This one to Jones. And David Poole wrestles him down as Stoffer spends his last time out.
Great job by David Poole. Did you see what he did there? He worked his way around James Jones so that he couldn't get out of bounds and forced Stoffer to burn a timeout.
It'll be a 40-second timeout.
Watch number 27, David Poole. James Jones comes out of the backfield, number 30. And watch David Poole swing his hips around right there so that he couldn't get out of bounds. He could have come up with a big hit, but he knew the more important thing was to keep him from going out of bounds so that they'd have to take a timeout.
Looked like they were trying to take Jones' head off.
Well, now we've got yet another situation. 3rd down and 2. If New England can make a play here, take a timeout, they'll have another opportunity to get the football back. I tell you, with these offenses, it's amazing. In 2 minutes, the ball goes back and forth 3 times. It's
getting to the point where the defense is going to have to make a play to score.
I'm sure that's what Andre Tippett and company are, what they're thinking. This is getting ridiculous.
Should the Patriots get the ball back, they do have 2 timeouts left. See if they can hold them here.
They have the spread formation in, the passing formation. Showing some confidence in Stoffer.
Draw play to Williams. And he has a first down, but the flag flies. Ray Agnew made the tackle, but not until Williams had the first down.
Looks like it's going to be against the Seahawks. Big break for the Patriots.
Holding, number 66 of the offense. 10 yards, repeat, third down.
Left guard Andy Heck with a hold. And only 7 seconds ticked off the clock.
Now, I'd be willing to bet $1 to a donut here that they're not going to throw the football. Any time last week they were in third and more than 10, it was a draw. We'll see. They went with the rollout and threw deep the last time, but with only 42 seconds left, you don't want to make it too easy on the Patriots. Well, probably they're not afraid of the Patriots offense.
Getting deeper and deeper. Here's the draw play. You called that one correctly. John L. Nothing there. Taken down.
The crowd's calling timeout.
And the Patriots finally do with 34 seconds left. So New England will get a chance before halftime.
Well, the nice thing about this game is they're giving the end zone grass plenty of time to grow. It's just one of those. They had the concerts, and they wanted to make sure that the grass was nice and green for when the Buffalo Bills come in here
next week.
So
how do you gauge the punting so far?
It's been outstanding. It really has been. Oh boy, I tell you, I am a big fan of the punting team. You see Tootin, and he doesn't even, most kickers, they go out there and they take that practice swing, like a golfer. They'll kick a couple times and try and get themselves loose, but really no need for Rick Tootin. He's kicked 5 times already. He's ready.
And McCarthy's kicked 6, is that right? 11 first half punts. Last week, the 49ers
I was just thinking that.
and the Bills went through the whole game.
We're going to have back-to-back records. No punts one week and the most punts the next.
Tootin, another good one. Here's Timpson. From the 20, fell down and immediately is covered. So it'll be an 80-yard march if the Patriots could pull it off for the first time. Rob Thomas made sure that Timpson didn't get up. 54-yard Tootin punt.
We joked about the grass down on that end of the field, but we've seen now 2 or 3 players slip, and this is an all-purpose stadium. It is not owned by the New England Patriots. They don't get anything out of this stadium. They don't get parking, they don't get concessions, they don't get luxury boxes. This is owned by a separate corporation, so they really had no say in the matter.
And so far getting no points out of it here in the first half. Millen sacked. Cortez Kennedy, hello. Marker down, the flag flies as Millen is sacked back at the 6-yard line.
I think they hit him too hard.
They're playing that Matador defense on Cortez.
5-yard face mask, number 97. The ball will be taken all the way back to the line of scrimmage and repeat first down.
Oh, boy.
Rufus Porter back in the game, called for the face mask. Yeah, the Matador on Cortez are just waving him on through as he goes through the cape, because no one has slowed him down even here in the first half.
Do you think Cortez Kennedy's a little bit upset? Another cheap sack for him, and it's nullified by the penalty. You saw Rufus
said, "I'm sorry, big guy.
I know, you're dinner now." That's how you make your money, those sacks, if you're a defensive lineman.
Millen steps up, and his receiver fell down. It was Timpson who fell down with 16 seconds left.
Well, they're not even watching the football game in the stadium. There's been something going on in the crowd now for about the past 2 or 3 series, and they're singing and dancing, and the police are up there, and I think it's been a little more interesting in the stands than it has been on the field. I'm not even sure you throw the ball here, to be honest. You've taken your lumps. The last thing in the world, it's obvious you're not going to score any points, so just make sure that they don't.
They will put it up. Millen's pass, a good one. But then, as I said that, it sailed behind Irving Fryer, so maybe not so good after all, and there were 2 defenders there anyway. It was a pretty spiral, at least.
We're trying to be positive. We are. That's good.
I am. I'm not so sure about you.
No, I am. I try to be positive. Coach McPherson, pants look nice. Good, clean, crisp-looking white shirt. Nice tie.
Get a run.
mercifully, that will bring the first half to a close. It has been a dreadful first half at Foxborough Stadium, with the Seattle Seahawks going 81 yards on their first possession to lead 7-0. We'll be back after these messages from the NFL and your local station.
Join Lori Matsukawa and Brendan McLaughlin tonight at 5.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Gail Gardner joins us again, as she will each halftime this season. Mark Bavaro is a guy who didn't do much talking when he played for the Giants. Suddenly he's opened up in what is a surprising new phase of his career.
And of course, I think part of it is that he has done something that I think was totally unexpected, perhaps even by him. You know, when he was released by the Giants prior to training camp in 1991, it was done in such a seemingly ungrateful manner that it caused a hue and cry among New York fans and media. In the offseason, he had bone grafted from his hip to try and replace the dead bone in his severely injured left knee. The Giants felt they would never see his face on an NFL field again. How wrong they were.
He just was a relentless, aggressive, talented player. He just was physically a very imposing guy. He was all the things that a coach could want.
Mike Ditka, Ozzie Newsome, perhaps the Hall of Fame. That was the company he was in. Until his left knee was destroyed against San Diego in October of 1989. After ligament surgery, he returned in '90, helping the Giants to their second Super Bowl title in 5 years, pushing himself despite a daily level of pain that most of us could not tolerate.
I enjoy that season more than I did the '86 season. There's something about doing it again. You know, we were the underdogs. You know, when you pull something off like that, it's a better feeling, knowing that you've overcome the odds.
But after Mark's experimental bone graft surgery in February of '91, the Giants felt those were odds he would never overcome, and they unceremoniously released him.
Though I had expected that the Giants would allow me to recuperate and rehabilitate through this upcoming season in the hopes of my coming back for the 1992 season, the Giants did not share that same thought.
Who were you in 1991? What were you doing?
My wife had to finish law school, and I just assumed my role as a husband, as a father, as a house husband, as a son, as a friend.
A good friend, former Giants assistant, now Browns head coach Bill Belichick, brought Bavaro to camp, and surprisingly, he earned a spot on the roster. What has it been like for you coming into a whole new city and a whole new set of teammates?
It's like being a rookie all over again. I played in the NFL, but I didn't play with these guys. You know, they don't know what I can do. They're not sure that I can still even do it anymore. It's a humbling experience, and I think more people need to go through that.
At what point did you realize this was workable?
I still don't know if it is. Like, I could be gone next week. That's how fragile my knee is, you know. So I try to do my best, and when that day comes that my best isn't good enough, then it'll be time to leave.
Great story, but a concern here.
Sure.
There are abundant examples of this. Joe Namath, Jim Otto, you can go down the list, and there's more and more attention these days on the toll playing in the NFL takes, the inhuman toll that it takes on a person's body, legitimate medical concerns. And what is he thinking about?
For the rest of their lives, of course.
Right.
What he said to me was, my knee is as bad as it will ever be. The doctors have told me it can't be any worse than it is. And so he feels he can continue to play, and they said he can continue to play. What you should understand is that they have filled a hole in his knee with a piece of bone. They don't even know if it's alive. The knee could collapse tomorrow like that. But he's not going to be any worse off than he is now. The knee has pain, he has arthritis, he knows it, but it won't be any worse.
All right, we've got to get out of here. Thanks for the report, Gail. Our NFL Live halftime activities will continue.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
All right, Bob Costa's back, along with our guest in the studio this week, Buddy Ryan and O.J. Simpson. And let's take a look at some highlights from the first game we're going to talk about, which is Philadelphia at home against Denver. They've just gone to the third quarter, and the Eagles lead 17-0. There's Herschel Walker, who has added another dimension to their offense. He had 40 yards rushing in the first half. Randall Cunningham, though, a big story. He scrambles away from some trouble here, helps his own cause with this 29-yard run, and it set up a 50-yard field goal by Roger Ruzek, which was the game's first score. Cunningham, meanwhile, has thrown 7 touchdown passes to this point in the season, including 2 today, and hasn't had one intercepted. This is a 24-yarder to Calvin Williams. Later, he hit Fred Barnett for 34 yards, and the Eagles clicking offensively and defensively, leading 17-0, Coach.
Oh, they're doing great, especially the defense. I think they're just smothering Denver.
And you take special pride in that, just as you helped to build Weeb Eubank's defense with the Super Bowl champion Jets more than 20 years ago and did it for Mike Ditka in Chicago. As the head coach, you took a special interest in the defense and built this unit.
Well, I took a special interest in both of them. In fact, I drafted offensive players first year, and then defensive players. But they can play either way. If one can't win it, the other one can.
O.J.?
Even though I see Randall Cunningham scrambling like that, I think after he got injured, that's going to make him a better quarterback. He always had a great arm. I remember when he was 6 years old, I was recruiting his brother, Sam Bam Cunningham, and he was sitting on my lap, and I watched his career. He can always throw the ball, but he was a scrambler, and all the big colleges wanted him to be a receiver. Like this Marshall Faulk kid down in San Diego, they wanted him to be a DB. But he stuck with it. He wanted to be a quarterback, went to University of Las Vegas, I guess, and I think you're going to see just what talent he has as a passer now because of that knee injury last year.
I think there's some merit in that. We saw the 29-yard scramble, but in general, his yards per carry are down, and it looks like his willingness to take off is less than it was before the injury.
I think it'd be a big mistake because he's the best athlete he's ever played quarterback, and you got to let him ad-lib and do his thing. That's where the big plays come from most of the time.
Okay, let's take a quick cruise through the rest of the scores. San Francisco is in front early third quarter at the Meadowlands against the Jets. The score here is 24-0. Steve Young has 2 touchdown passes and a touchdown run. Mike Kofer a 45-yard field goal. One of the TD receptions was a 5-yarder by Jerry Rice, 94 for his career. He will soon go past Steve Largent's NFL record of 100. Meanwhile, his running mate, the other wide receiver, John Taylor, fractures his left fibula in the first half, and he's out for a minimum of 6 weeks. Kansas City has the lead in the third quarter. They've just started the second half, 13-6 at Houston. Marty Schottenheimer's team trying to take its record to 3-0. Cincinnati with a 10-3 lead at Green Bay. Early third quarter at Lambeau Field. Cincinnati got off to a bad start. They had 3 first-quarter turnovers, but the Packers couldn't capitalize. Here's the game's only touchdown to this point. The rookie from Tennessee, Carl Perkins, will field a Green Bay punt at his own 5. He'll start to his right. Did I say Carl Perkins? Well, if it was Carl Perkins, nobody could have caught up with his blue suede shoes, but this happens to be Carl Pickens, and it's easy pickings for him after he eludes all these tacklers and goes 95 yards for the touchdown, trotting home, almost taunting the last guy who had a crack at him. And there he is, 95-yard touchdown. They lost Don Mikowski, the Packers did, in the first half with an injured left ankle after he was sacked by Tim Krumrie. They hope it's just a sprain. They're taking x-rays at this point. We'll have a report later. Tampa Bay at Minnesota, halftime in this one at the Metrodome, 13-7 the score. Rich Gannon, a 30-yard touchdown pass to Chris Carter. Then he bruises his right hand, and Sean Salisbury replaces him at quarterback for the Vikings. Vinny Testaverde goes out with a bruised right forearm, and the veteran Steve DeBerg comes in and completes a 28-yard touchdown pass to Courtney Hawkins, so the lead belongs to Tampa Bay. Atlanta leads early third at the Georgia Dome, 7-0 over New Orleans and Seattle in the game you folks are watching with a 7-0 halftime lead, and they're just about to start the second half, so it would be a good idea for us to send it back to the field. Halftime lead, and they're just about to start the second half, so it would be a good idea for us to send it back to the field.
7-0 at halftime. This game has lived up to advanced billing. 2 pretty good defenses, 2 pretty bad offenses. There have been 12 first-half punts.
What do you do if you're Dick McPherson, though? I mean, here is a situation where this team can't run, they can't throw, they can't protect the quarterback. They're on pace now for 104 quarterback sacks on the year. They have no points in 2 games. I mean, this is simply an awful offensive team, at least thus far.
And throw out that opening drive, and the Seahawks haven't been much better. Seahawks kick off to open the second half. Vaughn in the end zone will run it out. the 21-yard line. Let's take a look at our Coors Light halftime stats, such as they are.
Joining us today is the honorary choice.
And maybe the most significant stat is one that's not even on there, and that's the fact that on third down, the Patriots are now 0 for 7. According to those stats, it's at least a fairly even game if you can judge by number of punts at 6 apiece. But really, they have been able to do, the Patriots have been able to do absolutely nothing on big plays.
Pitch it on first down to Russell. And Leonard Russell fumbles the football, recovered by Seattle. So one of the defenses does make a big play. It's Seattle's. Jeff Bryant recovers Leonard Russell's football on the first play from scrimmage in the second half. And, of course, the Patriots had 5 turnovers against the Rams last week.
Just a simple pitch play, and Leonard Russell is going to try to make an extra spin, try and make something happen for his football team. But if you're on the defense now of the New England Patriots, you're out there on the field, you're saying, you got to be kidding me. I mean, at least we expected to get 3 plays out of you. Now you guys are giving us only 1 and putting us on the 30-yard line. They have to hold them out of the end zone because I don't think New England can score 10 points.
Williams in motion. And the handoff is to Warren. Chris Warren stacked up at the 30-yard line. Good defensive play by David Howard. You know, Howard in his 8th year out of Long Beach has been unheralded. He was originally drafted by Minnesota, then traded to Dallas in the Herschel Walker deal. Had 5 starts for the Cowboys last year. 3 years a starter at Minnesota, a couple of years in the USFL, but he's been a valuable pickup.
Yeah, and he's really been the emotional leader of this defense. When he took over for Chris Singleton, he has been the guy that you see throwing his arms up in the air, trying to get something created, a little excitement, and he made a big play. That was a big first down play to hopefully put a little heart back in this New England team.
Blitz coming. Stauffer chased. Dumps it off complete to Jones, and James Jones stopped by a brilliant open field tackle delivered by Randy Robbins.
Boy, I tell you, if Randy Robbins doesn't make that play, James Jones walks into the end zone. Randy Robbins, a Plan B free agent from Denver. He was stuck behind Steve Atwater and Dennis Smith, maybe 2 of the best safety men in all of football. And take a look at this. With those blockers out in front, if Randy Robbins doesn't make that play, he is gone.
Seattle had the right play called for the situation.
It really was.
The one man made it happen. 6 defensive backs now for the Patriots.
They need about 6 yards here for a field goal opportunity.
It's a draw play to John L. Williams. No! It is Dwayne Sabb that wraps him up immediately and takes him back.
Finally, something to cheer about.
Now Coach Mack even gets in on the act.
Watch Dwayne Sabb. Number 95, he's the rookie. He was the 1AA Defensive Player of the Year from New Hampshire, and he just made a huge play. Not only does he keep them from picking up the first down, but also forces a punt rather than a field goal. They ran the football there trying to pick up the 5 or 6 yards for a field goal attempt, but after that kind of a start by the New England offense, what a huge series for this New England defense.
Tootin's 7th punt of the day. Bounces into the end zone for the touchback. So New England, after fumbling on its first play from scrimmage to open the second half, gets the ball back after a 38-yard punt.
NFL on NBC is brought to you by Hertz #1 Club Gold. Hertz's fastest service now in more locations coast to coast. By Dean Witter. There are many ways to measure success. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. By the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right.
With producer David Michaels and director Andy Rosenberg, Tom Hammond and Chris Collinsworth welcoming all of you watching from Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. It's 7-0 Seahawks. Russell, 10-yard run after fumbling the last time. That'll be just beyond the first down marker as Russell comes back with a big effort and finally stopped by Eugene Robinson.
That's exactly what you need if you're on the Patriots team. Watch the right side of the line of scrimmage. That's number 75, Larry Williams, coming off and making a play, making a block on the inside linebacker. He's filling in now for Eugene Chung, their number 1 draft choice. Big hole for the Patriots. Leonard Russell has to say, what was that?
Russell, the only setback in a 3 wide receiver formation. Gets the handoff. And again, a pretty good hole. Pounds ahead across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Give him a 5-yard gain before he's tackled by David Wyman.
You know, the defense has really given this Patriot team a lift. That was a tremendous 3-and-out series that they had. Not only did they hold them for 3 plays, but they also pushed them back. The Seahawks pushed them back out of field goal range. A tremendous series defensively, and now you're seeing the offense playing a little sharper, I think, because of it.
Russell again, cutting back, almost to the 40. He'll be stopped just half a yard short of the first down marker.
I tell you, if I'm Tom Catlin, the defensive coordinator of the Seahawks, I force them to throw. I put 8 guys up there. I'll put 9 guys up there, but I want to see Hugh Millen throw the football, because the only success...
That's Greg Riccozzi, 71, reporting as an eligible receiver.
The only success that the Patriots have had in the past 2 ball games is running the football. You take that away, let's see if they can beat me throwing the ball.
Riccozzi lines up at a tight end. Pats 0 for 7 on 3rd down. Russell has it. First 3rd down conversion of the day by the Pats, and keeps their drive going.
And first offensive applause from the crowd of the day as well.
Offensive applause? I didn't know you could have such a thing.
It is kind of like oxymoron. Yeah, look at Dick. He said, yeah, there we go. Now I've got a first down. Now I can get into my coach's strut. I'll walk up and down here and act like a head coach, put my hands on the hips, and now I'm feeling good. We've got a first down. We're on the 40-yard line. By golly, we're almost ready to cross the 50-yard line.
Well, as you said, McPherson, not a whole lot he can do. Might have been a Seattle offside. I didn't... It's Russell with a free play that gets 4 or 5 yards to the 45. I thought one of the Seahawks jumped offside and never made an attempt to get back. Didn't make contact, but was caught in the neutral zone. It might have been Cortez Kennedy.
Offside, defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Cortez just camped in that neutral zone.
You know what happened? I mean, let's see if that's exactly what it is. Cortez, now he's so big, he can't move back. He knew he was supposed to, but he couldn't get it in reverse.
He pitched his tent there in the neutral zone, didn't get away with it.
He was trying, though. He was trying to get back. He just had 300 pounds. You just can't throw that baby in reverse and make it happen.
Those gears were grinding, but they wouldn't catch.
He knew it was wrong.
9th penalty, 66 yards, stepped off against the Seahawks. The workhorse, Russell, bounces to the outside. Russell down to the 36-yard line of the Seahawks, behind a block by Irving Fryer. Patrick Hunter on the tackle after a 15-yard gain.
Well, maybe they found something at halftime. Let's give the coaching staff of the Patriots some credit. Don't forget, even on the play that Russell fumbled, he had picked up 8 or 9 yards. They are having tremendous success over the left side of the line. That's right behind Bruce Armstrong, their all-pro tackle. And it has been consistent success now. His number's starting to look a little better as well.
Russell out of the game. Kevin Turner has come in. He's in there with John Stevens. Now it's Turner in the slot to the right.
8-man front.
Stevens tried to get a block from a pulling Pat Harlow, but David Wyman made the tackle after stripping the interference away. Wyman, you'll remember, the man that had that little scuffle a week ago after the loss to Kansas City as the team returned with Keith Millard, who then was released the next day.
Tom Flores said, though, that scuffle had nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, Millard and Wyman are good friends, and they talked to each other the following day. He just said it was simply a matter of Keith Millard not making enough of a contribution to this team.
Both coach and player frustrated by the lack of success. Millen hit as he releases. The receiver fell down. What else could go wrong?
Let's see if Millen's okay. He got hit right when he threw the ball. Don't forget, he's got the bad shoulder. He bounced up.
There he is.
Apparently all right, but I tell you what, that young man has taken a beating in just 2 games.
Think he's not tough?
That's a dangerous situation. You saw David Wyman, just as he released the ball, there are a lot of quarterbacks, as you see, boy, he has had a rough day of it already. 4 hurries, 1 knockdown, 3 sacks, looks like a fight.
Fryer, Timpson, and McMurtry, the only 3 wide receivers the Pats have in the game, along with John Vaughn in the backfield. Millen with protection this time, pass for Fryer, touchdown!
With Patrick Hunter, goes by him as his own defense, I'm sorry. And number 41, Eugene Robinson, the most valuable player for these Seahawks a year ago, just could not keep up with Irving Fryer.
36-yard scoring reception for Fryer. The first points of the season for the New England Patriots.
And it was all set up by the defensive stand.
The extra point hits the upright. Can you believe it? Bauman's extra point attempt hits the upright. Oh, goodness.
He's rusty. He hasn't played any this season.
Millen throws the touchdown pass, but the Pats still trail. New England to kick off after the 80-yard touchdown drive. Short kick. And that's Reuben Mays. Mays takes it out to the 28-yard line where the Seattle Seahawks will take over. Todd Collins with a special teams tackle for the Patriots, who are down 1. Flores and the Seahawks clinging to the lead, try to answer the scoring drive of the Patriots. They'll put the ball in play from their own 29-yard line.
Well, that was really a nice drive. Ran it right down the field and then at the end opened it up. It's amazing what a good running game will do for the passing game. On that play, Millen really got no pressure whatsoever. Gave Fryer plenty of opportunity to work it deep down the field and hit for the easy touchdown.
Cheer from the crowd as they announce San Francisco 31, the Jets nothing. Play action pass. Stauffer with plenty of time. Now it breaks down and the pass misfires intended for Warren. Well, originally, Stauffer had time to look at his first, second, third option. And
great job that time by Kelly Stauffer. Earlier in the ball game, we saw him throw it up for grabs when it wasn't there. That time, there was nothing down the field. They tried to go deep. They tried to hit a bomb on first down. It simply wasn't there. The crossing route over the middle wasn't there. Now just get rid of the football. Great play by a quarterback. 2nd down and 10. Still plenty of opportunity to pick up your first down.
And the offensive line allowing him the luxury to check those different options. Delayed handoff to Warren. Played beautifully on the corner by David Poole. Poole came up, made him turn in where the pursuit could catch up.
Well, I tell you, this Patriot defense has really picked up the pace now. You're exactly right. Nice play by David Poole. Poole is the reason that they felt comfortable in letting Ronnie Lepet go. Of course, the longtime corner, great player with the Patriots for so many years. But I'm not sure that they really feel like that Poole is the ultimate answer at cornerback. Rod Smith, who we told you about, their draft choice from Notre Dame, is apparently their star of the future.
Dime defense for the Patriots as the Seahawks face 3rd and 8. Stauffer, sidearm delivery intended for Kane, incomplete with a flag down. Maurice Hurst was covering Tommy Kane. I think it's delay of game against the Seahawks. That'll give them another play, though.
The play does not count before the snap. Delay of game. Offense, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down. Before the snap, delay of game.
Now, what happened on that play? Tommy Kane is limping off the field. You get a player hurt. If it's delay a game and the play doesn't count, don't let the guys run around out there and get banged. Tommy Kane may be out of this ball game for good now because the officials didn't blow their whistle loud enough.
Kane sits on the bench as the trainers come over to talk to him.
That's terrible. That's just terrible. That was a non-play, and he gets injured on it.
Doug Thomas replaces Kane. Stauffer, wide open pass and a first down, but another marker on the play. Catch made by Ron Heller and Rod Smith on the tackle. Let's see what the penalty is this time. It was John L. Williams that made the catch.
I think you're going to get defensive holding.
Holding, number 37 of the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Yeah, that was Maurice Hurst on the hold. They were trying to play the bump and run man-to-man coverage. Nice pattern out of the backfield. This Seattle offense is much, much better, much more effective than what we've seen it in the past couple of weeks, especially on the third and long situations.
So on the delay of game, the Seahawks get another play. They would have had to punt, but the penalty by Seattle gives them another chance, and they pick up a first down. A penalty helping this drive. John L. Williams for a yard. Vincent Brown stacks it up in the middle. Vincent Brown in his 5th year out of Mississippi Valley State, former teammate of Jerry Rice at Mississippi Valley, and he writes poetry for his daughter and young son, and we asked him yesterday if it were good. He said he thought it was good. He said his agent had a look at it and said it was so good he ought to share it with the public. He hasn't chosen to do that yet, but
agents always love everything you do. As long as you keep those checks coming, they love it.
You can see a dollar sign coming out of it.
Oh, yeah, that poetry, that's great stuff.
Stauffer, sidearm toss off the hands of Heller, the intended receiver, covered closely by Rod Smith.
Remember, Heller went out of the ball game earlier, and it looks like he's injured again. He had the problem with his hand, his wrist was something, and they've got a problem at the tight end position because Paul Green still cannot play. You'll see him coming across the bottom of your screen here, number 82, and he's going to get hacked right on that wrist again and then land on it. And I don't believe they can afford to have Ron Heller in the game. I'm not sure he could catch it even if it hit him right in the hands.
Trey Junkin, the remaining tight end for the Seahawks. Kane, Thomas, and Clark, 3 wides for the Seahawks. Plenty of time for Stauffer. No pressure whatsoever. And the pass out of bounds. Jerome Henderson was defending Clark on the play, but the ball delivered out of bounds wide of the sideline marker anyway.
Well, they got away with it. They won the battle there, but I'm surprised that New England has gotten away from their pressure defense. The one thing that they have had success with Stauffer is just trying to bring some pressure on him. I guess that time, third and very long, they felt like they could get away with it.
Punt number 8 for Tootin as Timpson awaits it. Tootin's had 5 over 50 yards today. Timpson's going to let this one bounce, and it takes a great Seahawk bounce. It'll be down inside the 5-yard line. That one hit the grass and went straight up in the air where the Seahawks could down it. Goes in the books as a 48-yard punt. New England backed up. Back at Foxborough, where the crowd today was asked to contribute to a fund for Hurricane Andrew victims, the We Will Rebuild Fund. And remember, the opener, New England-Miami, was canceled and rescheduled for October 18th. And when the Patriots go to Miami to play, they're going to take a donation to that We Will Rebuild Fund. Bruce Armstrong, the all-pro tackle of the Patriots, is chairman of the fund. He's from Miami. And of course, Sam Jankovic came from Miami. His son had his house destroyed. Sam Jr. lost his house in Hurricane Andrew. Well, they were successful on the ground in the last possession, going with Leonard Russell. They go to him here and get only a couple of yards. Wyman and Porter were ready for it.
but they were successful to the left side. I'm surprised that they came back and opened up this series by trying to run right. Eugene Chung is out of the ball game. Larry Williams has taken his place, but where they had success was left. Bruce Armstrong, a great tackle in this league, and Reggie Redding, who hasn't had much success against Cortez Kennedy on the pass plays, but evidently is doing fairly well on the running plays.
Russell again. Tried to cut it back the other way and did finally net a couple of yards before he's twisted to the turf by Rufus Porter. Hope you'll join us this Saturday afternoon from South Bend, Indiana, as we bring you a great rivalry, intrastate rivalry between the Purdue Boilermakers and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, led by Heisman Trophy candidate Rick Meyer. Chris and I will be there along with David Michaels and Andy Rosenberg. That's next Saturday, the pregame show, Notre Dame Saturday, starting at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Hope you'll join us.
Tom, interesting call now. You're backed up in your own end, inside the 10-yard line. You're still a point down, but plenty of time remains. Still 3:30 left in this quarter, but they're in the shotgun formation. Apparently, they're going to risk it.
Dillon from his own end zone. Dangerous pass. Knocked away by Harper, intended for Michael Timpson. That could have been 6 for Seattle very easily.
Watch Cortez Kennedy here. He's working on Reggie Redding, and I mean, I think Hugh Millen saw Cortez sling his lineman to the ground or to the side and said, I think I'll dash right. That's part of the problem for quarterbacks. You know, they only take so many hits, and then it gets inside their brain. I'm not so sure after the first 2 games it's not inside Hugh Millen's head.
McCarthy with his 7th punt of the day, taken by Warren. He cuts up and makes a nice move. Good return out of it by Chris Warren. He's into New England territory to the 44-yard line. 48-yard punt, but a 13-yard return before Kevin Turner made the tackle. 3:10 left in the third quarter. 7-6 Seattle after a New England missed extra point. And Seattle takes over with Stauffer still trying to stay loose. He's hit half his passes, approaching 100 yards. Has the ball with good field position here.
If you're wondering what the hey, 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 goodbye chant is all about, the gentleman that has been causing a few problems in the stands throughout the course of the game is finally being escorted out.
First down handoff goes to Chris Warren, and Chris bangs out about 9 yards before he's tripped up. David Howard gets credit for another tackle. He's made a lot of big plays for the New England defense today.
You can only expect this Patriot defense to do so much. They came up big right after the fumble in the first half, or right when they came out for the second half by Leonard Russell. But now their backs are against the wall once again. They have to be able to at least hold them out of the end zone. A field goal here does not kill you.
Stauffer pumped one way and then, through an interception, it would appear. But Howard could not hold on. He had it in his hands, and it just slipped right away.
Intended receiver on the pass play was Ron Thomas.
Kelly Stauffer had Andre Tippett headed for his jugular. You just cannot try to cut Andre Tippett. It looked like Ray Roberts there making the mistake, and you'll see the drop now by Brown. Boy, that would have been a huge play, or by Howard, excuse me. That would have been a huge play had he been able to come up with that one. Third and short.
Warren goes airborne and is thrown back. Tippett and Brown right there to meet him.
You have to go for it here. Absolutely have to go for it. It would be over 50-yard field goal. You see Tom Flores, I would be shocked if he doesn't go for it on 4th down if they don't have the first down. It is 4th down. The offense isn't leaving the field.
So Flores will go for it, 4th and short. In fact, they might have lost a half yard on that last play. It's almost a full yard for a first down territory. pitch. Hit behind the line, shakes free, and has the first down. Scrambles to the 25-yard line. Great effort by Chris Warren.
That was a sensational run. And Joe Collier is upset. He had the perfect defense. They had this stopped in the backfield. Number 36, Jerome Henderson, simply cannot make the play. Missed tackles. One of the real poor efforts by the Patriots defense so far this afternoon, but a great run by Chris Warren.
First down, Seahawks from the New England 25-yard line. 7-0 Seattle inside the final minute of the third quarter. 7-6 the score. 7-6 Seattle. Stauffer pitches it to a wide-open Jones. And James Jones is close to a first down right at the sideline where he's banged out of bounds by Maurice Hurst.
It's amazing what a missed extra point will do to the complexion of a football game. Now instead of trying to defend a tie, you're behind, and you really, given the offensive woes of the Patriots in this ball game and during the course of this season, they cannot give up a touchdown.
And that play will bring the third quarter to a close. Kelly Stauffer has hit 13 of 26 for 106 yards passing. Talks to his backup, Dan McGuire, as the final seconds tick away here in the third quarter. That is the end of the third quarter. Seattle leading 7-6. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Charlie Bauman wearing the goat's horns at the moment. His missed extra point leaves New England one shy of Seattle, and the Seahawks driving now with the ball 2nd and 2 from the New England 17. Patriots stop it close to the first down marker. Doug Thomas on the reverse, and Andre Tippett makes the tackle. Let's see where they mark it. Just needed 2 yards for the first down. I think they got it. Andre Tippett. And they will. They'll put the ball just inside the New England 15. First down, Seattle.
You know, it worked, but that's a strange call, Tom. You're in field goal range. You want to force the Patriots to score a touchdown to beat you. It would have given you a 4-point lead just to have a field goal now. And those reverses so often will end up losing 10 yards. They got away with it there. But I'm not crazy about the call on the 20-yard line.
For the end zone. And the catch made for the touchdown by Rob Thomas. 15-yard touchdown pass by Stauffer. There's a penalty marker on the play.
Holding number 30 of the offense. 10 yards. Repeat first down.
A hold by James Jones nullifies the touchdown pass.
Tom Flores can't believe it. Boy, in a ball game like this, a touchdown just about puts the Patriots away. Watch James Jones, number 30, coming up from the right side of your screen. He's there on the right flank. He'll come back into the backfield and pick up the blitzing linebacker. And now a takedown, and that is holding.
I probably should mention that Jones is from Florida, University of Florida. Alma mater of my...
Now, why would you... You should mention that, huh? It's another shot.
Stauffer tries to get it back. Chased. Got rid of it. Complete. Jones, who had the holding call, running for his life. Back to the original line of scrimmage, and then a flag comes flying. Ten-yard gain on the pass to James Jones.
Ray Roberts, the rookie tackle for Seattle, really got away with a hold. Tippett just got away from him, and he grabbed the back of his jersey, but the referees didn't see it.
Personal foul, number 22, half the distance to the goal. First down.
What they did see was a late hit by Rod Smith, which will penalize them half the distance.
Watch the left side of your screen. Number 73, Ray Roberts, as Tippett gets around him. He just grabbed him briefly. I guess that really wasn't a hold. Now James Jones is going to get a chance to take it on down the field. James, one of the better receiving backs in all of football. There's the penalty. That's not much of a penalty. That's not much of a penalty. That's a strange call. And you have to worry anytime you see a team huddled up like this around one of their players. I can't even tell who it is.
You know, James Jones made a nice catch on that play. That ball was only a foot off the ground, and he went down to get it.
James Jones is a terrific receiving back. At the University of Florida, he made plays coming out of the backfield and catching the football that you just wouldn't believe. He has some of the best hands in the league, and they've got the stretcher.
We can't tell who the injured Patriot player is because of the teammates around him.
I'm not even going to guess. You can see the 5, but that doesn't narrow it down very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the convenience of all of our fans, AAA has provided 2 courtesy service vehicles.
I always hate to see that. Usually if a guy is okay, it's nothing serious, they'll just go on back to the huddle, but it's always scary when you see the teammates huddled up around an injured player.
For over 90 years, AAA has provided emergency roadside services to its members. America's #1 auto club, AAA, is the official auto club for the New England Patriots this year.
Penalty against the New England Patriots will step them back. It's the 4th penalty for 29 yards. Seattle has been penalized 11 times for 87 yards today. We still have not been able to identify the injured New England player. We think it might be Vincent Brown, the fine linebacker, who told us yesterday he wanted to be recognized as one of the top 3 or 4 inside linebackers in the NFL, and certainly was headed in that direction as the #1 tackler on this team a year ago, 117 of them.
Alternate for the Pro Bowl last season. And obviously one of the very well-liked players on this team. You see Joe Collier, he's concerned, and not so much because you lose a football player for a game or a play or whatever it might be, but he is as bright and articulate a young man as I've met in a long time. You talked about the poetry and just such an intense competitor.
Let's see if we can find out what happened by taking another look at the play.
The description is he's the blur that you see in the center of your screen, number 59. See if we can pick up exactly what happened to him.
I really couldn't tell unless a teammate fell on his knee or something. It was difficult to discern what exactly happened. It is indeed Vincent Brown.
And Tom, you see the way that they're holding his head still, and that is as scary as it possibly gets, especially in this stadium.
Perhaps a spinal cord injury, and your reference to Darryl Stingley, who was paralyzed, a member of the New England Patriots. We certainly hope that Vincent is all right. An impressive young man. Takes a little of the steam out of the game, but the Seahawks are threatening to put it away if they can score again. 1st and goal for them inside the New England 10. Warren to the 5. Back inside the 5 to the 4 or the 3.5. Before he's stopped, it'll be 2nd and goal.
You know, Tom, the worst part about an injury like that is for the family, who I'm sure is sitting at home and watching on television, either that or here at the ball game, and they just don't know. You just don't know. So as soon as we get any word whatsoever, we will certainly pass it along.
Warren has carried 17 times for 90 yards now. He's the only setback. And he gets the fake from Stauffer, who rolls and pitches for the end zone, incomplete. defended by Rod Smith,
who atones for the earlier penalty by making a big play. Rob Thomas has been a big addition for this Seattle Seahawks team. This is the play that Stauffer loves. The naked bootleg rollout, just lofts it up. Looks like it was going to be there, but Rod Smith, tremendous speed, able to break it up. Now, a huge play in the football game. 3rd down and 4. They have to keep them out of the end zone.
10th play of the drive. Dion Lambert comes on as the 6th defensive back. Penalty markers down. I think that'll be a 5-yard step off against Seattle for illegal procedure. Ray Roberts looked like he came across too soon.
Before the snap, false start. Number 73, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
Ray Roberts with a false start.
Credit the crowd for that penalty. So many times when you get down in the end zone, that's where it's the loudest in the stadium. It looked like Stauffer just barked out some kind of a preliminary signal. Ray Roberts, the rookie, jumped off sides. Now 3rd and 9.
Inside the 10-yard line. 3rd and goal from that 9-yard line. 7-6 game, Seattle. Flag. I think Roberts did it again. Here's the pass. It's complete for the touchdown to Paul Green, who's come back in the game despite an earlier injury, but I believe Roberts with another false start.
That's exactly right. The officials blew it dead, so that play does not count at all.
Before the snap, number 73, offense, false start.
The rookie from Virginia, first-round draft choice, the All-American for the Cavaliers, taking the worst of it here.
You saw Derek Brills patting him on the tail, just coming up out of the stance. And that's what happens so many times. These young tackles, they don't want to get beat around the corner, and they can't hear. You know, they've been experimenting in the National Football League with putting transmitters in the quarterbacks' helmets, and that's the case in point right there, that they want those tackles and the wide receivers to be able to hear the snap count, because from experience, I can tell you that you cannot hear. When this crowd gets going like this, you cannot hear on the field.
To Warren. He'll be stopped at the 7-yard line. It'll be 4th down.
That's a good call. That really is a good call by Tom Flores. You're backed up to the 16-yard line, 3rd and forever. You have to have points on the board. Force New England, who has had their share of problems on offense, not only today, but in the first game against the Rams as well. Force them to beat you with a touchdown and not a field goal. Almost automatic now for John Casey.
25-yard attempt by Casey from the hold of Tootin. And the kick is good. So John Casey kicks the field goal to extend the lead to 4.
On NBC is brought to you by Domino's. Call Domino's Pizza right now, and you'll be enjoying our unlimited toppings pizza deal when the game is over.
Tom Hammond, Chris Collinsworth at Foxborough Stadium, where a 25-yard Casey field goal has made it 10-6 Seattle with 12:02 left in the game. Latest word on Patriots linebacker Vincent Brown is that he has a neck injury and is currently being examined in the New England locker room. Casey's kick, taken by Vaughn, 2 yards deep. He fumbled it off his shoulder pads, and Pinson recovers it at the 5. So New England has it 95 yards away from the goal line. Next Sunday, NBC Sports with an NFL doubleheader for you. It starts with the NFL Live Show at 12:30. Then you'll see the Buffalo, New England, or Denver, Cleveland doubleheader game. You'll see either Miami, Seattle, or the Jets and Rams.
Buffalo has had some trouble here at Foxborough Stadium in the past, so that may not be quite the walkover that it will be made out to be.
In fact, the Patriots beat the Bills here last season. Stevens Williams now sets up on a wing to the right and goes in motion.
8-man front for Seattle.
And off to Russell. Wrestled down after a yard by big old Cortez Kennedy. Got some help along the way from his teammates, chiefly Terry Wooden.
Tom Catlin obviously daring the New England Patriots to throw the football. You see him there, the defensive coordinator. He will play this 8-man front until it is 3rd and long. I would have imagined he'll come right back with it again. You don't want to give up the long, cheap play. You certainly don't want to give up a 95-yarder, but so far, Hugh Millen has not been able to beat them in the air.
He'll try to here, and he unloads it for Fryer. Good defensive play. Fans wanted an interference call, but Patrick Hunter had it timed out pretty well.
Well, you want to talk about a play as a wide receiver that it just takes guts to run. There's no question about it. You run a deep post pattern in the middle with Eugene Robinson bearing down on you here. That ball goes into the uncatchable category. I don't think he had a shot at it, and you can't have pass interference on an uncatchable ball.
What do you feel about those calls when you're in the huddle and you get them from Ken Anderson or one of your quarterbacks?
You just say, what the heck, they're going to hit you anyway. Big play here, though, 3rd and 10.
Complete for a first down. Fryer wrestled down after he made the catch in front of Hunter, and the pass pulled out a crucial 3rd down conversion and keep the football.
It's a little surprising to see them give that much room. You see Hunter at the top of your screen. That's a 10-yard cushion. All they're looking for is the first down. That's just an easy pitch and catch.
Did you have an understanding with Boomer or any of your quarterbacks about staying away from those across-the-middle calls?
You just gave him the look. And he said, well, they sent it in from the sideline. I couldn't do anything about it.
Cook in motion on this first down play, which is a pitch to Russell. Russell close to the 20-yard line. Here's an update on the condition of Vincent Brown. He apparently jammed his neck and has movement in all his limbs. Vincent Brown has movement in all his limbs. Apparently just a jammed neck and nothing serious. That's the preliminary report at least.
Good news. That's good news. Makes you feel better about watching the football game. But once again, the Patriots are running almost exclusively on first down. And defensively, Seattle's coming out in the 8-man front, and they're not picking up any significant yardage on first down.
Millen, chased from the pocket, makes a nice read to Fryer, and Fryer with a first down, chased out of bounds at the 36-yard line by David Wyman. It's the veteran Fryer for 16 yards who has keyed this drive by New England.
David Wyman.
Irving Fryer has become such an important part of this football team. He really is almost a one-man offense at this point as far as the passing game is concerned. Hugh Millen really not even looking at any of his other receivers, just wants to get the football to Irving Fryer.
Fifth catch of the day. Draw play on first down to Russell. Seattle not fooled, stopped it after a yard or two.
They've made big plays on second down, but I'm surprised at the play calling as far as first down is concerned. Dick Corey, the offensive coordinator, insists on staying with the running game, and for the 3rd straight time, they pick up 2 yards. Thus far, they've been able to make it up on second down, but first down with that kind of production just puts your offense in an awfully tough spot.
Dick Corey's family watching in California via satellite. Millen caught by Russell and somehow got away from the initial 2 tacklers, but then is stopped for a loss of 2 by Terry Wooden and others. That one looked bad from the outset.
Yeah, that was very close to being a lateral. That was a nice play by Leonard Russell. You say, why not just bat that ball down? Obviously, the play wasn't developing correctly. But let's see if this was a lateral or not. He threw it from about a yard inside. That was at least a parallel pass. Very close indeed. So nice play by Russell, just making the catch and making the best out of what he had.
3 wides now. Fryer, Timpson, and McMurtry on 3rd and 9. Good protection from Millen, and Timpson with a catch for a first down to the 48-yard line. and caught it in front of Dwayne Harper for 12.
Boy, that sure helps this offense when you have somebody like Michael Timpson, who's a burner. He has great speed. You have to give him plenty of room off. The inside technique leaves plenty of room open on the outside. He attended Hialeah Miami Lakes High School and became the first athlete to win 4 events in a Florida State track meet. He won the 120, the 330 hurdles, the 220 dash, and the long jump. Quite an athlete.
Former American record holder in the indoor 300 meters. Change of the play by Miller.
Just a hurry.
Enough. Millen's pass complete and then fumbled. Let's see, is it ruled a fumble? Yes, it is, and the Seahawks have it. Kevin Turner coughed it up, and David Wyman recovered for Seattle.
The Patriots have really been hurt by rookie mistakes. Kevin Turner, the rookie out of Alabama. Let's see if he gets 2 feet down. That's the rule. You have to catch it and go 1-2. Get both those feet down. 1, 2. Now the fumble. Good call by the officials.
Second turnover by the Patriots, who had advanced from their own 5-yard line and apparently had a pretty good drive going. Turnover by the rookie gives it back to the Seahawks.
There's nothing worse. Kevin Turner, though, did make a nice play as far as getting up and making the tackle, because David Wyman had blockers in front of him, and had Turner not made the tackle, that may well have been a touchdown.
7:10 left in the game. Seattle leading by 4. Warren inside the 45. Ripped off 4 or 5 yards before David Howard makes another stop. Now Seattle wants to keep it on the ground and let the clock tick away if they can.
About 6.5 minutes remaining in this. When Seattle can pick up 2 or 3 first downs, they can just about wear out the clock.
Chris Warren's had a big day running the football.
He's a good player. He really is.
Stauffer directing the offense with a handoff here to Chris Warren, and Warren is close to a first down.
Warren told us yesterday that that's his favorite play. The draw gives him a lot of room to operate. His offensive line does a nice job of clearing out.
Kelly Stauffer, the quarterback, getting his chance now after a great preseason, and with David Craig out of the way, beat Dan McGuire for the job. Stauffer's from Rushville, Nebraska, population 1,200. He said it was a typical Midwestern farming town where life centered around high school sports. And of course, he was a great football player there. Baseball, though, was his favorite sport. In fact, he threw a perfect game in the high school regional finals. His team was 20-1 in basketball as a senior, and he also threw the shot, the discus, ran the 4x100 relay. They're watching in Rushville on Satellite 2. On that third down play, the Patriots say they stopped him. The Seahawks say they have a first down. Let's see.
I don't know if he got it or not, but the Patriots have done a great job today in their short yardage defense. Apparently it is going to be 4th down. I think I saw the referee stick his fist in the air signifying 4th down. I'm going to bring the chains.
And if you're Tom Flores, do you punt or go for it?
I believe Tom Flores is going to punt, and really no choice at this point in the game. But the way that your defense has been playing, you have to feel fairly comfortable that if you can get a good punt out of Rick Tootin and back them up inside the 20-yard line, that your defense will get the job done. Remember, because of the missed extra point, they have to have a touchdown to beat you, and I'm sure Tom Flores would like to go for it. But to be honest, his offense has not had success. It'll be a delay of game. Here we go with the punters padding the stats again.
Delay of game, offense, penalties decline. It's still 4th down.
They're going to give Tootin more of a chance to kill it inside the 20. So on 4.5 yard, Flores takes the delay of game. And Tootin will now stand back at the 45-yard line to kick it. That's 102 yards in penalties against Seattle today. The like a good one. Fryer calls for the fair catch and takes it at the 11. Well, only 4:42 left for the New England Patriots to try to catch Stauffer and the Seahawks.
NBC is brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. By the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. By Radio Shack, America's technology store nobody compares. And by Delta Airlines. At Delta, we love to fly, and it shows.
Hugh Millen takes over now with only 4:42 left, and his team trailing 10-6. After that good punt by Tootin, setting the Patriots back. Actually, the Seahawks had been called for delay of game, but New England declined the penalty.
So let's see if they get back to that scat package that we talked about at the beginning of the game, where they go from the fullback to the tight end, then to the wide receiver, try to get out of this hole.
Millen faked the toss, now having to scramble. He'll be trapped and down. That's the 4th sack of the day. It was Tony Woods that caught Millen from behind that time.
That was a busted play. Irving Fryer took off down the field, and Hugh Millen flipped around, was looking to throw the slant or the quick hitch, and Irving Fryer was 30 yards down the field. There was no other receiver on that side.
There's Fryer. Now it's 2nd and 15. Ball all the way back to the New England 7. They'll try to run it out of there. Leonard Russell is across the 10 to the 11 or 12. Esby Glasgow from a safety spot as the clock reaches 4 minutes.
They're in the 2-minute offense, and they have to throw the ball here. They just still have 3 timeouts remaining, but you can't count on your defense forcing Seattle to go 3 and out. You have to try to pick up the first down now.
Millen thought better of it. He'll be sacked again. That's the 5th. Natu Tuatagaloa, just released by Cincinnati on the 11th of September and signed by Seattle on the 16th, gets the sack.
He's a happy guy. He was a contract, had contract problems in Cincinnati, was never able to work it out, and finally they released him. He's only been in town, only has been a part of this team now for a couple of days, but he comes up with a huge sack, but you can't blame the offensive line for that one. Millen had all kinds of time, just nobody open.
Blocked on McCarthy's 8th punt of the day, and he was hurried into a bad kick off the side of his foot. It'll be downed at the New England 36-yard line. So the Patriots running out of time and chances. Coach Mack thought he had this New England team headed in the right direction last season when they won 6 games after a dreadful 1990. But it's been a rough start to the 1992 season.
Tom, essentially 4 timeouts left. The Patriots have 3 plus the 2-minute warning. Whether or not you burn a timeout is predicated upon how well they do on this first down.
How they do is pretty well as John L. Williams lugs it to the 30-yard line. Johnny Rembert makes the tackle. Timeout New England, stopping the clock with an even 3 minutes left. Watch me, Coach Mack
I'm not
says.
sure he wanted that timeout, because after picking up 6 yards, you almost have to concede the first down to them. Maybe he wanted to wait for a better first down play by his defense.
Well, coming up tonight on NBC, it's an all-new Secret Service based on the actual cases. An undercover agent is tempted by the woman he's trying to bust. Then on an all-new eyewitness video, see incredible footage of a woman who survived a whale attack, followed by an NBC world premiere movie starring... Don't interrupt me yet. Followed by an NBC world premiere movie starring Kathy Ireland. That ought to perk your ears up a little bit. Danger Island tonight on NBC.
I'd rather talk about the whale attack. They have a video of that, huh?
Video of it. I don't know if it was a killer whale or not, but it was a whale attack. Final score in from Philly. Not surprised that the Eagles beat the Broncos, but the margin does raise an eyebrow or so. 30-zip Philly. yard to the 30. It'll be third down. Williams and Rembert, making sure Williams didn't get 5 yards as he had earlier.
Good defensive call by Joe Collier. And they take the next time out here as well. But Joe Collier played a 9-man front that time. He said, if you want to beat me in the air, but you're not going to do it on the ground.
We'll be back. Collier's defense trying to hold on third down, get the ball back for the Pats offense. 2:53 left. New England down by 4. Flores looking for his first career win as Seattle head coach.
I like the way Joe Collier's defense got into that last defense. They came up in a 7-man front, then right before the snap, jumped to a 9-man front. Let's see if they do it again. They have 9 men right at the line of scrimmage.
And off to Warren, breaks through a seam and has a first down to the 23-yard line of the Patriots.
There's that draw play again, and that's hard to believe that he could pick up 7 yards. McPherson, he can't believe it. He said, I got a 9-man front up there, 9 people at the line of scrimmage, and I can't stop a draw play. Just a great job down the field. Derek Brills with a huge block.
Chris Warren has his first career 100-yard game against McPherson's Patriots. Chris Warren, 21 carries, now 116 yards.
They have to run a play. They can't run it down to the 2-minute warning.
Warren takes tacklers with him inside the 20. Got 4 yards or so as the clock stops for the 2-minute warning. Officially 1:59 left in the game. Seattle with the lead by 4. Seattle leading 10-6 over New England with 1:59 left in the game. And the Patriots down to their final timeouts.
But they have time. If they stop them from this first down, they'll force Seattle to kick. That'll only give them a 7-point lead. It's not over.
Warren tackled after a short gain, and the final timeout taken by the Patriots.
Now it all comes down to one play. If they keep them from the first down on this 3rd and about 4 play, then they will get the football back, force them to kick. They'll be down a touchdown, and there'll be about a minute left to go in the ball game when they get it back.
And when this game is over, we invite you to stay tuned for the post-game show. There'll be a report on the rash of quarterback injuries that have occurred in the NFL today, plus an update on that Kansas City-Houston game. Last report tied at 20. That's the Old Spice NFL post-game report coming up at the conclusion of this one.
Well, that'd be hard to believe. Houston losing 2 at home this early in the season. They're almost unbeatable there.
And we understand it's gone into overtime now, tied at 20. Final score in from Green Bay. The Bengals still unbeaten, 3-0 under David Shula after a 2017 victory.
Nail-biting time now for Joe Collier. This will be the last play of the game if they're not able to make the stop. Of course, you've got to come up with 9 people defensively. 10 if you can find them. They're not going to throw it here.
Give it to Warren. Chris Warren fighting his way forward. There's a penalty marker down. He is inside the 15. I think just short of the first down. Eugene Lockhart made the tackle. And a holding call against Seattle.
This is an interesting decision. I think you have to take them back to try and force the field goal to be a little bit tougher, but at the same time they did stop them short. You see McPherson.
Decline it.
This is a tough call. It really is, because now you're putting...
Holding, number 30, penalties declined, 4th down.
If I'm Tom Flores, I go for it here, because you have a 4-point lead. Yeah, shows what I know. Here comes the field goal team. But you have a 4-point lead. If you pick up the first down, the ball game is over. a touchdown, you're still playing, it would still make it a tie. Of course, they've been so awful today on their short yardage offense. I'm sure that entered into the decision.
4th and 2, and they elect to go for the field goal. 33-yard attempt. Casey's kick is no good. It sailed wide left for John Casey, and the Patriots have life yet.
Watch Casey's reaction after the kick. He doesn't miss many. 25 of 31 last year. He can't believe it. That's a huge miss.
Still, though, the Patriots are 80 yards away. A field goal does them no good. They have to score a touchdown. They trail by 4. No timeouts remaining. 1:44 on the clock. Hugh Millen has passed for 106 yards and a touchdown today. Under pressure, steps free. McMurtry has it. McMurtry out of bounds at the 40-yard line of the Patriots. Millen stepped away from the rush and completed it for 20.
Nice play. Here they go in their 2-minute offense. They've had some success with this. This 2-minute offense has been one of the few bright spots for them.
Millen across the middle. Cook has it, but only 5 yards, and the clock will continue to go. I don't know if you want those across the middle.
5-yarders don't do you much good. Remember, they have to have a touchdown. A field goal does them no good, and they're basically going to burn 20 to 25 seconds for a 5-yard gain.
Millen to the sideline this time, and it's complete. Timpson makes the catch, but didn't get out of bounds. The clock continues to roll, approaching 1 minute.
Timpson made a mistake. He caught the ball and laid there. If he had just caught it and kept rolling, they would have stopped the clock.
Inside Seahawk territory. Millen to the other side. Fryer out of bounds at the 25-yard line. 17 yards before Glasgow got him out. Pitch and catch time for McPherson's Patriots. They need a touchdown. 45 seconds, no timeouts.
Right back to the line of scrimmage.
Millen's pass for the end zone. Intercepted. Intercepted by Patrick Hunter, who'll down it there.
That was the play they hit for a touchdown earlier in the game. But that time, Patrick Hunter dropped back into his zone. They had deep help with the safeties, but nobody underneath. Patrick Hunter disregarded the underneath receiver, dropped back, and saved the game. Never looked off. Hugh Millen looked that way the entire time, and that gave Patrick Hunter the read. You just cannot afford to do that. That was a big moment in the ball game, and Hugh Millen, as he gains experience, I'm sure when they go back and watch the films, they'll say, Hugh, you know where you're throwing the football, you know where it's going. On your drop, look the other way. Try to move those safeties. Give yourself a little more room to operate.
Seahawks, we thank you for support today. Patriots and Seahawks at Foxborough Stadium ask that you cooperate with the state police on Route 1 as you exit from the parking lot. There are sidewalks.
Leonard Russell injured on the play. Hugh Millen with his 5th interception of the season, first in this game, just when the Patriots were moving with their 2-minute offense. Don't forget the Old Spice NFL postgame report, all the stats and highlights and final scores. Kansas City and Houston in overtime, report on that game, and a lot of quarterback injuries today. Bob Costas will update you on that as well.
Tom, you know, one of the unusual things about that play is they got out of bounds. Irving Fryer got out of bounds on the previous play, and they went right back to the line of scrimmage. And if you're a Patriot fan, that's not a pleasant sight either. Leonard Russell, the rookie of the year, great player for the Patriots. But they had plenty of opportunity, absolutely no reason to go to the line of scrimmage. I suppose they felt like that they had the momentum on their side and the defense on their heels a bit, but that would have been a nice opportunity to give your offense a blow and get organized and call a couple of plays in the huddle they chose to go right to the line of scrimmage. I don't know exactly why.
Perhaps to keep Seattle from substituting?
That's possible.
Now the Seahawks just killed the clock, and they'll have their first victory in 3 games. And the Patriots will go to 0-2.
Down by
Person had the opportunity. They drove down. The 2-minute drill was working very well, but a bit of inexperience on the part of Hugh Millen. Tom Flores happy to pick up his first win as the Seahawk head coach.
And Kelly Stauffer gets the victory. How did you assess his performance?
Not bad. He played okay. The thing that I liked that he did today was he didn't make the big mistake. You know, that's what he's been doing the past couple of weeks through the interception against Kansas City for the touchdown. But this afternoon, nothing spectacular, but I thought he learned as the ball game went along and didn't try to throw it into places where he could get himself hurt. Just made the safe, careful passes, kept his team in it, let his defense win it. Nothing wrong with that.
So Millen's interception kills the last gasp New England drive. And the Patriots at 0-2 will host Buffalo next week, while Seattle, now 1-2, will be in the Kingdome to play the Miami Dolphins. Don't forget, coming up next Sunday, doubleheader day here on NBC. Here's the lineup of games you'll be seeing. Either Buffalo, New England, the game we mentioned, or Denver against Cleveland. And at the 4 o'clock, the second game of the doubleheader, either Miami, Seattle, or the Jets against the Los Angeles Rams. That's all coming up next Sunday here on NBC. So the post-game show will be coming up, the Old Spice NFL post-game report, to give you all the scores on this 3rd week of NFL action and some special reports as well. We mentioned earlier a rash of quarterback injuries today, and Bob Costas will bring you up to date on that and give you a report on that hard-fought Kansas City-Houston game, which went into overtime tied at 20, with the Oilers in danger of losing their 2nd home game of this young season. The team picked by many to win the AFC Championship and certainly the favorite in the AFC Central. Well, scores here today were few and far between. The defense is dominating. Seattle 10, New England 6. The Seahawks scored on their first possession of the game and got a field goal in the second half. Here's the last play of the game, as it turns out.
It was a 2-deep zone, but Patrick Hunter wasn't concerned with the underneath receiver. Drop back, made the great athletic play, saved the game for Seattle and Tom Flores.
So the Seahawks win their first by a final count of 10-6 over New England. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Coordinating producer of football, John Francis. Today's game produced by David Michaels and directed by Andy Rosenberg. Associate Director Carol Larson. Production Associate Harold Bryant. Now this is Tom Hammond for Chris Collinsworth saying so long from Fox.